can see it's...
What's happening, guys? Welcome to another eclectic edition of PWT Live Show. Yeah. I'm your host, the infallible Phil Marks. Yeah. And you, of course, are the PWT Universe. Round of applause for all of you. Thank you for being here. As everybody files in, make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that subscribe. If you are not already liked and subscribed, please and thank you. We are like 9 subs away, I think, from 4,000 on the youtube.com/@prowrestleclips channel. And we are like, I don't know, I want to say like maybe 90 or maybe less than that away from, or maybe like 10. I'm so sorry. I'm not a numbers guy, B. From 1,100 over on @prowrestleclips. So thank you all so much. I acknowledge the PWT.
Acknowledge me.
It is hot as sin. I apologize if you hear fans going. It is quite bubbly. Quite toasty out there. How you all doing, chat? I hope you're all doing well. We've got a lot to get to. You guys noticed the last few shows we've been firing through Phil Marks bookmarks, and every day that we're not here talking together, I'm accumulating more. And Meltzer said, "What is sending me more?" And yeah, we have Dynamite coming on tonight in about 15 minutes or so, or maybe less. But that's not even the focal point of tonight's show. The focal point of tonight's show, how was the wedding? Shaggy, it was really good, actually. Thank you. Was that last weekend? And guys, if I'm Robetronic, sorry, StreamYard is running like shit. I don't know what to tell you guys. Sorry, YouTube, cussing only 4 mins deep, but if I start going Robetronic, you guys just let me know. And yeah, we're going to keep things moving tonight. Shout out to Nisha Lane, mod in the chat there, and member for 2 months. You guys consider becoming a member. You get a green thing on your name. I try and show all of the member chats during the live shows, and you get access to members only shows, which I'm a big fat phony. I'm a big liar about, and I never get them to you guys when I'm just so busy. You know what I mean? But I promise it's going to happen more. I'm streaming more and more and more and more and more. I'm trying to. I want to start doing something for NXT too, because it's just the most fun. You guys want to hear me pop and mark out every week. NXT is just banging. So I want to start doing more streams where we just watch more like WWE too, not just AEW every time. You know what I mean? So we're going to do that for sure. And yeah, it's 99 cents to become a member, and you just support this channel. You know, that's basically the main thing that it is. And you get acknowledged. The tribal chiefs on the recorded podcasts get acknowledged. Brought you guys some. Oh, we have Gilgamesh here as well, a member for 4 months, saying, "We are the youth gone wild." Oh, I do have a guest here.
I look and see it's not just me. So many others have stood where I stand. We are the young, so raise your hand. They call us problem child. We spent our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We are the youth gone wild. We stand and we won't fall. We're one and one for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth gone wild. Let me get wild. Yay!
And you guys can thank Gilgamesh for that. And RG became a new member, so round of applause. Yeah, it's 99 cents. You support the channel, and yeah, speaking of PWT podcast, guys, last week I brought you guys interviews. I had Alfred Konowa on to just break down the state of AEW. I gave you guys heaters last week, so there will be a normal PWT podcast standard episode either over the weekend here or on Monday. I have Marie Shadows. You guys might not be familiar with her, but she is out there grinding, and she used to, I believe, work for WWE Network. I'm like 99.9 999% sure that she worked for WWE Network. She works for or with MLW, right? I don't know if it's an independent contract she works for. I don't know. We're going to break it all down. And she like does the Lord's work and is a female who legit covers New Japan and stuff, you know, like legit is into it and, you know, covers the stuff that here. I got to close my window here. You know, she covers the stuff that, you know, not a lot of people do just in general. And yeah, she worked with WWE Network before and stuff. So yeah, she's going to come on the show tomorrow and that'll be released probably the next day, you know, so Friday morning, expect a pod. Yeah, and then or maybe I'll just milk it until Monday. No, I don't know. I'll just bring you a new one Monday. I got Marv the Movie Monster and Kevin Apollo over from Toonie Talk coming on as well soon, so that will probably be next week. And yeah, and if you really need something to be heard, you can pull a Ray J's World with a $10 super chat, and it will absolutely be read and responded to with my full force. We're going full force. Jumping Jeff Farmer. Thank you for the super chat. Ray J's World, with all the talk and a picture of a meeting between Shane McMahon and Tony Khan, is it to help Tony with creative, or does Tony think it will give him what he wants? A WWE AEW Super Show push. Well, Ray J's World, a round of applause for that super chat, and thank you for setting me up with what I'm starting the show with and why we're here a little bit early before Dynamite. Although, like I told you guys, Dynamite's not the focal point tonight. It's honestly these bookmarks and all of this crazy news, but we're going to react to Dynamite, obviously. But 67 of you watching, 23 likes. Run those likes up to 50. And thank you so much, Ray J's World, because we're going to dive into Phil Marks bookmarks, and we're going to just talk about this because this is what's on everybody's mind. You see it in the title of the show tonight, the broadcast, and I know everybody wants to talk about this. I had comments on it. Over here, we see the Dynamite card. So, you know, let's talk about the Tony Shane stuff. But first, I'm going to quickly just run down this Dynamite card. Okay. Does that sound good with you guys? Because it is coming on. And if you are watching it along, don't worry. We are wheezing the juice here. We are getting into the Shane stuff right away. Thank you for it. I got a ton of Dave, a ton of everything today, guys. So this will be a great show. It'll be great. And I need a Red Bull and, of course, a soda water. Stay hydrated, my friends. It is toasty out there. All right. So let's break down this Dynamite card quickly. Sorry, guys. I feel like here we go. StreamYard's acting fucky. It's not good. Here we go. So tonight, they're at the BSW Arena in Greenville, South Carolina. Pardon me, Will Ospreay and Lance Archer. Cool to know he's still in the company. He's always begging to get on TV on X. Shout out Lance Archer, huge fan. We got Danielson live. Okay. We'll hear from Monet. Okay. You know, I've been liking what her and Britt and Camille have been doing, but whatever. We got Hangman versus Allen. Okay. We got Willow and Chris Statlander in a CMLL World Women's Championship Eliminator match. What the fuck, you know? Then we have the Conglomeration, which is I guess the team name for Ishii, Orange Cassidy, and Mark Briscoe, and they're taking on the Beast Mortis, Roderick Strong, and Roosh. Why is Roderick Strong in a faction with 3-4 other guys if those aren't his partners? Why is Roosh in a faction and in Los Facciones Gobernable? And why is Beast Mortis wrestling, taking Commander 20 minutes on Ring of Honor and then pinning guys on Collision and the refs don't realize it? Now he's on Dynamite taking on the Conglomeration like this is a faction. I really don't know what they're going for here with all of this. And then we got Mariah May sit-down interview with Renee Paquette. So personally, I'm not jumping out of my seat for any of that. I got to be honest. Now, Ray J Super Chat. How does that tie into the Shane McMahon, Tony Khan thing? You covered a lot of bases here, Ray J. Thank you. I'm going to take that off the screen, but I got your chat right here. I might pull it up to defer or refer to it to make sure I cover all my bases here. So, you know, first things first, I see this. picture, and you guys know your boy Phil Marks here. I'm gonna fucking psychoanalyze this. I'm gonna break it down. I got receipts, I got past things I brought up, I got everything ready to go here. Okay, so we're gonna pull out the Perry pack before Dynamite starts. We're gonna dive into this story. So, and it does relate to this Dynamite because last Dynamite they carried 800,000 plus viewers for how long, guys? Like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. The show before, the Osprey match with MJF, they carried over 800,000 for about an hour, over an hour of that show. You got to give them props where props are due in that regard, because we are getting their numbers like 600K. So if they're doing like a legit 800 some for like a chunk of that show, we're going to give them not just one segment, but we're talking, and not the lead in, not the start of the show. We're talking like if they can do that throughout a match, okay. They did it on the last half of the Blood and Guts show. They did it on the first half of the 250 show. If they can somehow mesh that together, they got 800,000 people watching the show every week for the full show for 2 hours, right? They've shown they can do it in either of the hours. And to me, this Shane McMahon, Tony Khan thing is Tony Khan trying to drum up some interest for this Dynamite that is absolutely zero interest. Not everyone, but you got to think a bunch of people, maybe not a bunch, maybe 50,000, maybe 100,000 are going to stay locked in throughout the night to see if and when Shane McMahon might appear. Maybe Dynamite starts and we get the old WCW and it's just Shane McMahon. Now, I don't think they actually came to a deal. I don't think there's anything like that, and that's why this got leaked. So let me break it down. First, I need a smoke in Minecraft. Chat, how you doing? How you doing tonight? Holding the thing yapping. I'm the guy who holds the thing, yaps, and doesn't pass it. You know what I mean? Okay, so to me, I see this picture, right? And immediately I pop. And because just of the fact that like it looks candid, he's got a soda water, right? Oh, soda water, it's great. And I pop. I go, this is hilarious. He didn't want this out. Excuse me. I'm sure the same reaction a lot of you had. Then, and this is the post I saw right here, was Wrestle Purists. Okay. So now this was a joint venture. This was a split joint reporting via Fightful and Wrestle Talk. You see the Wrestle Talk watermark, but it's Fightful who puts it out there and says, oh, but Wrestle Talk. And that's how they sort of work together, right? Like Wrestle Talk's people got this picture, I believe, and then, or maybe I'm wrong, but then they give it to Fightful so that it gets spread out there and it's more valid in people's eyes. Whatever. I don't blame anyone, but Wrestle Talk, because Wrestle Talk's delved into the gimmicks, sort of. They do the gimmicks there, you guys know. So, yeah, I Wrestle Talk snapped the pick, clearly. Now, Wrestle Purist says, Tony Khan had a private meeting with Shane McMahon this week. The meeting took place in an office at a private Arlington airport on Monday. Now, some people are clowning it. They're like, oh, do people meet at airports? Do millionaires? Yeah, all the time. That's actually like a super fucking low-key place to meet, where we've broken it down on the show before, right? I've talked to Paul Nolan about it on the show, who's coming back on as well. ASAP. Again, I got another string of fiery shows coming for you guys. So stay locked in. I hope you guys are here locked into the show every week. But yes, airports are a stealthy way where people can just be catching a flight from the same airport and sit next to each other and, get some deals done on napkins, or get handshakes done, or catch up on where people are in life, right? That sort of thing happens all the time, especially in the entertainment industry. So yes, so they get a little conference room here. They show up. Now, this meeting happened on Monday. It's now Wednesday, the day of Dynamite. Okay, so here, we'll fucking hit an X-Files. But, I mean, right? It's Wednesday. You know what that means. They're desperate for ratings and they're going to try and pop some. So that's why I think this was I don't think a deal went down. I think that this got leaked purposefully to try and garner interest for this Dynamite, because they're trying to keep the run of hot shows, because the WBD deal is on the fence, and they're trying to keep a run of hot shows going into All In. Now, to take it even further, here's my conspiracy. I'll give myself another X-Files. I believe that Tony McMahon, I believe he was in on somebody coming in and taking this photograph. I truly believe that. Look at how he's like Shane McMahon looks like a dude with his pants around his ankles, but like a guy who's trying to seriously talk business and creative, and a guy who someone just walked in the room and he's like, "Oh, is that your assistant?" And there's just a photo being snapped. Tony, after I sat on this and looked at this picture for a while and thought about this today, PWT Universe, Tony looks like he's in on it. He looks like a guy who's like awkwardly pretending to be like, oh, pardon, we're having a meeting here. Oh. That's what Tony Khan looks like. So I think he was in on sneaking a photo that he could then have to get out to the public in some form or fashion. Now, you can call that conspiratorial, but we know how Tony is with the fucking dirt sheets. He was raised in the darkness. He was born in the darkness. He loves the dirt sheets. He loves the dirt sheets, man. He thinks this is the way to do it. He thinks catering to the dirt sheets and that whole fucking world is the way to promote your brand, to promote your business. He likes it. He likes when the sheets are talking about him, you know, and they like when he's talking to them. I feel like this looks like a frustrated Shane. I tweeted it out, trying to negotiate with his child their bedtime. You know, that's what it looks like. And Tony looks like fake shocked. Like, oh, you're here, but let me kind of block my vision from Shane because I knew you were coming in to take this photograph and put it out there. Now, who knows? Maybe I'm making shit up. Maybe I'm just talking mess, but I believe this was leaked intentionally on Wednesday. And the reason it didn't leak, why didn't Wrestle Talk leak it Monday? Oh, well, because we needed, hi, I'm Ollie Davis. And actually, we needed Fightful and their sources to confirm the photograph that we took before we put out the story. Nah, dude, like, how it's clearly, is it AI? No, then where? It's not like this needed vetting. It's not like, oh, we needed sources to confirm that was in fact Shane McMahon. Like, no, we know who it is. So why didn't it come out Monday? Because they didn't want people buzzing for Raw. Why didn't it come out Tuesday? They don't want people buzzing for SmackDown. Why did it come out Wednesday? Because they need buzz for this Dynamite, and I think they hope that 800,000 people are going to tune in case we hear, here comes the money, here comes the checkbook.
That's great.
You know? And I'm not the only one who thinks this, right? This narrative's being floated out there by the likes of Brian Alvarez. Now, I'm going to reserve a flute for a minute, but make sure you guys run those likes up and we'll get some flutes. But here's Brian Alvarez basically stating the obvious.
From what I know, stories I've heard, there is no chance somebody walked in on this meeting, took a photograph, Tony went, ah! And then they fled and they put it out on the internet. No chance. Zero. Zilch. Not a chance in the world. Okay? So he wants it out there. Why?
Why do you think?
Well, I don't know what's going on. I don't have any inside information on this one. But I don't know, man. I think Shane's coming in. I think he's coming in. Why would you leak this? Why would you allow this to go out on the internet if you did not intend to bring this man in? Why would you do that?
Because you want people to think he's coming. This is why. Why would you put it out if he is coming in? It would be the biggest oh my God moment. Now, this is where it gets me thinking, guys, okay? And that's why you're all tuned into this show, because I've been covering this extensively. I've been diving deep into the psychoanalyzing this shit on a deeper level here. So let's think about this, okay? Tony Khan infamously leaked the fucking Edge promo code for Edge's debut. Meltzer was talking about it. Meltzer was talking about Danielson like it was nothing. Talking about, I mean, Cole was we all kind of knew he's coming to AEW. We just didn't know when, you know? And so they kept Cole quiet, kind of, but we all kind of knew about it. Everyone was talking about it. And all of these debuts, like Keith Lee, all this shit, Dave has no problem just frivolously talking about this stuff, you know? And just stooging it for the sheets and trying to drum up the hype, which I've said for a year and a half, since before I ever had this podcast. I've been tweeting it out. This kills the anticipation for the fans. Like, if you care about AEW, you don't want to keep like leaking the big debuts and spoiling the but it'll pop a rating. Nah, but if people know and they get it out of their system too early, what it will do is, if we don't see it coming, it'll happen, and then everyone will tune into the show next week to see what's going to happen, or they'll buy the replay or YouTube, whatever, right? I don't think he's coming in because they let it out. But then at the same time, Tony Khan does like letting this shit out. Do you guys know what I'm saying? So I'm like in the middle here. I'm torn. I'm thinking, obviously, right? Now, do I make a bold prediction here? I say we don't see Shane McMahon on AEW TV again. That's my prediction. We will not. Watch me be wrong. Who knows? I don't care if I am, because I don't care. I'm just going to cover it regardless. My whole thing is this. I don't see it actually happening, and especially now because they leaked it. But that's Phil Marks. Like, I'm a smart person. So I have to like remove that to try and get into Tony's brain and Meltzer's brain and all these geeks. How does this work here? Do they leak it out to make? Because Alvarez like, well, why wouldn't they do it if he wasn't coming in? But like the smart thing would be, no, why would he do it if he was coming in? You would just let it happen. He copies everything else WCW does. You just have Shane McMahon go, I own AEW now, Tony. The EVPs brought me in, and I'm sure that's the discussion they had. I'm sure what the discussion is how do we get Shane McMahon to align with the EVPs and try and take over AEW and have Darby Allin and him jump off some shit together. That's obviously the plan, you know, Darby's team AEW, obviously, right? So, but like, it's not a money thing. Shane doesn't need money. It's not about that. So obviously he is interested in the creative aspect. Obviously he is interested in doing stuff in wrestling if he's talking to Tony. And obviously he is interested somewhat in, probably more than likely, sticking it to Triple H and Steph a little bit because of that rivalry. That feud that apparently looms behind the scenes a little bit. You know, every Triple H runs WWE. Everybody thought that would be Shane, right? By all accounts, it should be Shane McMahon. As far as like, what do you build a legacy for your children? You know, that's the son-in-law, whereas Shane is your actual son. I'm sure Shane wishes he was in Triple H's position, but it seems as though over time people didn't trust him to be in that position. So let's hear what Alvarez has to say. So, guys, you know, I've thought about this every which way, okay? I'm thinking, like, I don't agree with Alvarez, but then I kind of do. I'm like, nah, because they're dumb enough to make that be the thing where they put it out there in order to, because he is coming in. But I just don't think it would be so blatant. This smells more like desperate to me. I do think Tony's in on it, but this is desperation to me. This isn't like some, ooh, look, they're leaking it out. It wouldn't be that. I truly don't think. And you have to remember, Tony Khan called Shane McMahon's father's legacy, what Shane McMahon's name is attached to, Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling. So the fact that that he would even want to do business with what is the Harvey Weinstein's family, whatever, shows you the hypocrisy of Tony Khan. Absolutely. This just shows it's just egg on his head no matter what. Unless Shane shows up now. If Shane shows up, then it's vindication, but then they fucking blew their wad, hotshot booked themselves, and it's like, okay, dummies, but we know that happens. That's what they do.
Dummy, yeah.
But if he doesn't come in, then this just makes him look like a fool. So he was sitting there negotiating, and the Harvey Weinstein or Shane's just there spying, and this is hilarious, and WWE's laughing like Stephanie and Triple H are laughing like, you don't think our brother's gonna tell us what your stupid ass is saying, stupid dummy? You know, it could be that. You know, I'm leaning into that, and I think this is Tony just desperately releasing it. I have another super chat from Ray J's World. Shane does not show. Tony will not know how to handle the backlash. Exactly. He won't know what to do. He will not know what to do. And already he's getting cooked for this. A lot of people, though, we're going to get into the IWC and the sickos and how unhinged they truly are, you know? But I don't know, if someone called my dad and my legacy, like, regardless if I have fucking personal gripes with the people running it or not, like, if that's my sister and shit, and you're calling Harvey Weinstein, dude, yeah, I'm definitely pulling a, what does Cartman call it? And a quantum Jew double bluff or whatever in South Park. I'm pulling the old, yeah, I'll come work for you, pal. And then you just, you know, stooge. Like, I think Stephanie, the non-conspiratorial thing would be Stephanie and Triple H and Shane, and then we're just laughing behind the scenes like, this idiot's really talking to Shane. That would be my only rational thing. But then you got to think it is wrestling. Shane does have a bit of a gripe, but let's look into this though. Okay. Cause you see the sicko fans, they got stuff to say. You got Shane McMahon's own family. They got stuff to say. And thank you so much, Ray J's World, for the tremendous super chats. And just to go back to what you say, is it creative? Is it like help with creative? Possibly that. It could have been like a consulting, like Shane could have been like, yeah, we'll have a consultation. Because apparently Tony will link up with the Cornettes and these guys, and what he does is he'll pick their brains, but then get them to sign NDAs and try and bring them in. So maybe that's all it was with Tony, was like, here, I'll get Shane in a room. I'll just call it a friendly consultation. We maybe aren't even talking AEW. It'll be about something else, and then fucking my assistant will walk in and grab a picture, and we'll fucking get it to Wrestle Talk somehow. Like, is that so crazy either? I mean, it sounds sort of conspiratorial, but it's not as conspiratorial as Tony Khan being like, oh, WWE's PR is leaking our TV rights deals. You know, it's no more conspiratorial than that, rather, is what I should say. So yeah, I could see it just being like we're gonna fucking, you know, we're going to talk creative here, or it's just a consulting, and then, oops, picture taken. Oops, I'm going to leak it on Wednesday. And Shane's like, I don't care. I don't give a shit. But sorry, I've been ranting and raving. 3 more seconds of Brian. Brian?
We'll see.
We'll see. Exactly. Yeah. So thanks, Brian, for that. And so I have some more stuff on this here. So we move up and along, and we have these, like, at WWE Real One, right? I guess I'm forced to sing Here Comes the Money. So, like, guys, don't interact with these accounts. Like, I don't follow this fucking fool. I bookmarked his shit, I know. I'm plugging his shit, I know. But listen, and that's all he wants. But, like, his interactions are going down more, because people know he's just clickbait engagement farming and accounts like this. But we covered it on the show with Alfred. They're doing this with Natty. Oh, I can stop pretending to say I like Natty now. I can stop pretending to like Natty Neidhart now. This is what they're doing now with Shane. So here's him before, Shane McMahon, LOL, I'm good. And then here's him, I guess I'm forced to sing Here Comes the Money. This is what they do, man. And it's because of this weird, like, dirt sheet approach to it all. And never forget, Shane McMahon's son, we played the clip on the show a long time ago. I should have pulled it up for this, any fat myself, but Shane McMahon's son did rarely, like, why would he do an interview with any type of wrestling fan? But there's somebody who a channel where I forget the name of it. I'm so sorry, but there's a special needs gentleman who runs the channel, who hosts it, and he does interviews, right? And Shane McMahon's son, of course, because say what you will, but Shane and his kids are great people. I don't care if he's meeting with Tony Khan. It's not a money thing, so it's a creative thing. That's where I'm torn here. We have Chris Connors from Last Call Podcast about to join and talk about this with me. But Declan McMahon, he talked about Impact and AEW in an interview, and this was well before the Impact WWE crossover stuff. But he was like, I don't watch that crap. And he got like offended almost when asked about this. So that's the conversations going on in the household. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me now on the show from the Last Call Podcast is Chris Connor. Round of applause. Chris, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining me. I know I just threw a link out randomly, no warning, but I was just like, oh man, I should do it because I know you're typically free. And
oh no, I saw that. Yeah, it's everybody's talking. Yeah, everybody's talking about that. I saw that. It's like, oh, Tony just happens to be, all of a sudden, like, oh, I can't believe you took that picture. It's like, oh, come on. It's right. You could tell this was like a setup, like, what's that saying? Like, I got set up like a mofo. It's like you knew that's like one of those things that gets leaked on purpose. And look, I get it. Shane McMahon probably took the call because, hey, if you're a business guy, you're gonna take a meeting. Just take a meeting.
Business is
Tony's
not
just
personal.
desperate right now for attention. It's one of those things. Yeah, it's a business. Do I think anything happens? No. I mean, if you're Shane McMahon, what's I guess for Shane, like what's the payoff? You go there and what? You're a 54-year-old man who tore his hamstring. Yeah. You tore your hamstring the last time you wrestled. If you go, what happens? You're gonna wrestle and what? Get jobbed out?
Or he's going to team up. He's going to team up with the Young Bucks, and then he's going to jump off some high shit with Darby Allin. I got some super chats here. Shaggy Phil 73 for $10.
Acknowledge me.
Is there any chance Shane is just there because he has a media background and is helping Tony negotiate a TV deal? That's the only reason I can think Shane gives him the time of day. Shaggy Phil, thank you so much for the super chat. Chris Connors, what's your opinion on? Do you think Shane is there to help them negotiate a TV deal? My opinion, it has nothing to do with that whatsoever. It's literally for the purpose of Tony getting this sneaky little picture that he could put on the internet leading into All In. I think he thinks WWE's playing dirty, and so I'm going to play dirty too. It's great. Chris Connor, what's your opinion on what Shaggy Filth has to ask here? Did I lose you?
How could Shane help the TV deal? I'm here. It's just if you're Shane, how do you help with the TV deal? I mean, at this point, there's not much he can do. They have the numbers. From what I've heard from usual TV deals, at this point, like you look at the AEW and WBD and the NBA, they've already announced the NBA's already announced their deal that's supposed to start 2015, 2016. This is 2014. They've already announced the deal. I mean, usually they announce stuff like a year in advance. So at this point, I think that it's either there's the deals on the table and it's either take it or leave it, or they've already told Tony, like, this is where we're going, and either you can, you either need to get your affairs in order or else. So Tony just is trying to not let the cat out of the bag. So there's nothing that Shane could do right now.
Yeah, I don't think Shane, like, I don't think he, other than like,
so there's nothing that Shane could do. This is just, hey, let's just get people talking about something.
Yeah, try and like pop a number. All he could do is like pop a TV number maybe for them. Thanks so much for the super chat. And then we have LC Killer, and I'll give you a bruv. LC Killer 17 says, I feel like this is a Hail Mary attempt for AEW. Yeah, that's more or less, it just smells like desperation. It smells like it just smells like desperation, and like he purposefully, like, why didn't this come out on Monday, period, point blank? If that doesn't tell you that the dirt sheets are working with Tony, or that he's manipulating them and then saying that everyone else is manipulating people and stuff like that. It just, this is the proof right there. Why didn't this come out Monday? Why didn't it come Tuesday? They waited for Dynamite. They were hoping to pop like a rating with it or whatever. Thank you so much for the super chat. Guys, there's like 105, 110, 111 of you guys, and it's fluctuating. Hit that like. We're only at 37 likes. Run those up to 50. Run those up to 100. Let's fucking go. Chat's going to ask for 69. But yeah, guys, I hope I covered that Shane stuff good enough for you. I don't know what else I could really add to it. It's all hearsay. We're watching Dynamite, so if he shows up, then, you know, we're going to have fun, like, popping at it and being like, oh my God, this is insane that he pulled this off, and how could Shane do it? And then everyone's going to be calling Shane a traitor and stuff. So, I don't know. Smells a little desperate, in my opinion.
Here's the one thing I would maybe caution.
Yeah.
If you're Tony, I mean, at what point do you go to WBD? You go, look, I'll sell 50% of a company to you guys. You give me, I'll give up creative control. I'll let you guys have 50% of, I mean, if he's desperate enough to go, look, I really want, X amount of bucks. I want more, and I want more, let's say, capital, involved. I want more, let's say, money, more of a better TV deal. Is he willing to go, look, I'll give, let's say, more. I'll let you guys bring in a third party to maybe write storylines, somebody that they can both agree to give power to, whether it's a Jim Ross, whether it's somebody that they can both mutually agree on, a la Chris Joseph, somebody who they can both agree, look, Tony, you can't write scripts. You cannot do this. You've proven you cannot book. But we know if you don't want to bring in an Eric Bischoff or a Jim Cornette, who neither of these guys want to do it, and we don't want to bring in a Vince Russo, we will bring in a third party that will let you sort of have some input, but, also we'll have our input. Would Tony do that, do you think? To stay face, but also to keep on WBD, would he swallow some pride, do you think, if it meant staying on TBS and TNT, if that was like the last chance?
If they were like, look, bring in someone who's going to turn it all around, and then it was Shane.
His ego.
Yeah, I could maybe see them saying that. I think he could maybe take the hit. If it was, I don't know. Like, if you got Shane McMahon and Jeff Jarrett in a room together, you can't tell me they couldn't book some wrestling. So, I don't know. But I just don't think it's that. Tony will never, ever give up the fucking pencil and the book in that company, dude. He ain't never giving down the ink. It ain't happening. So, I said here, your boy Phil said here, two things are fucked about this situation. A, the dirt sheets for leaking this info. You're just hurting AEW by doing this. You don't actually care about AEW, or you wouldn't leak that Ospreay is winning at Wembley, which is what they did. They put out a story. Someone reported that it was Fightful. They reported that the American Championship in AEW is temporary, and that, don't worry, it'll be changed back. It's just for this storyline, right? So they just told us that Ospreay's winning and changing it back to the international title at Wembley, and that this, MJF's whole thing is just right. They just said it. So, that's like 2 days or maybe two stories in the last 3 days where I'm going, you guys are just fucking stooging all the company's main shit. So why would anyone care? It's like if I told you every cameo in fucking Deadpool in the plot right now, you wouldn't go see the shit. Or maybe you still would, but it would not hit the same way. And it wouldn't resonate. It wouldn't have the same cultural impact and all these sorts of things. So anyways, I just said Shane was coming in. If you cared about its success, do better, Tony Khan. Stop trusting these geeks. And then I wrote B, the sickos are going to pretend like they like Shane McMahon, and it's not going to do shit for their ratings because we know it's fake and phony. TK called Shane's father's creation Harvey Weinstein. The sickos attack Triple H and Stephanie McMahon relentlessly about how their father is a rapist, etc. Now those same people are going to pretend they love Shane when really they don't. And if he came back to WWE, they'd be clowning him. So I don't know. Those are the bars I had to spit about it, as the youth says. And yeah, that's about all I can say for now, right? Chris, do you have anything to add to that? Or is that, I think we summated we have a super chat here, actually. Scully Vibes for $10. Wow, thank you so much. Shane doesn't want his last moment in wrestling to be an injury at Mania. WWE is protecting him from himself, and Tony's willing to pay him to perform for ratings. He doesn't care about money, though, Scully. Salute PWT, like, subscribe, follow. Yeah, guys, 121 of you watching. We need 100 likes at least for me to stop asking. So we're at 42, man. I need 60 of you, even you hate watchers, you haters, bro. Hit that like, sign into YouTube if you got to do your thing. That's the best free way to support the channel. But Scully, you're the man. Thank you. And yeah, he doesn't need money, but you are right. They are protecting him from himself. And I do think there's like a creative itch. Like apparently Shane was always a performer. Same with Vince. He's like his dad, they're performers deep down. So I get that need to want to fucking do something. And we know he'll jump. We know that Tony's whole thing is, you'll jump off this thing with Darby and you'll be invading, like trying to take over AEW. And Shane's like, well, I don't want to come in and be fucking booed as like this invader. So how can we, it's just some bullshit like that. If they're even talking about that, it could be what Chris Connors is saying. It could just be, hey, we're moving into the Major League Soccer space, and we're wondering if you'd like to partner as a Major League Soccer team, buy into this new team.
We have no idea what it is. It could be just a meeting. It's a meeting for anything. But if you're Shane McMahon, you take the call. You take the call because it's a business venture of anything. It could be AEW. It could be English Premier League. It's just a meeting. And if you're Shane, you go, all right, I'll take the meeting.
That's why Tony Khan looks like a kid whose hand's caught in a cookie jar, because his assistant walked in pretending to snap a picture. And then fucking Tony's like, hey, I'm going to post this like on Wednesday regardless. And then now that I have had a meeting with Shane, I can then not like it's called embellishing the truth. So if he says to Shane, and AEW would always have you on the way out the door, then he can sit there and go, yeah, we've talked about AEW. And then like when Mercedes Moné passes Shane in the airport and he says to Moné, oh, how you doing? And she goes, oh, great. I'm just in AEW now. Are you familiar? And then he can go, oh, yeah, I am. And then they can tell the sheets, oh, we talked about AEW. So it's more likely that. Like, it's more than likely that this wasn't even a wrestling focused meeting. And that's the reason Shane took it. And business is never personal. So, yeah, I don't even, it could be not even wrestling focused. That's how I feel after sitting on this for a while, but thank you so much for the super chat and the contribution to the show. Liking is free, y'all. It absolutely is. Please hit that like. And I'm struggling through StreamYard is working like S-word. Okay. So that's about all I can do when it comes to the Shane stuff, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that little segment. We'll put the card back over there. Guys, I saw what was happening on Dynamite. Chris Connor, are you watching Dynamite? Do you watch it weekly? Where are you with the whole AEW stuff?
I've tried to watch Dynamite. After last week's episode, I just went, oh, God, I can't do this anymore. I really can't. It's minor league. I mean, you just look at some of the stuff here. For what Tony has, it's $110 million he spent on this roster. Half these people look like it's, and I am trying. But Darby Allin does not look like a professional wrestler. For God's sakes, he looks like somebody that just came out of like, oh, hey, I'm a cosplayer. I want to be a wrestler. Mom, Dad, can I be a wrestler? Okay. It's like a trick-or-treater who came out and decided, all right, I'll be a wrestler. Yay! I mean, literally, he looks like a small child who decided to put, paint half his face, become a wrestler. I mean, seriously. And I grew up loving Rey Mysterio. I enjoy Lucha Libre. But as Brad Shepard said, you want your pro wrestlers to be larger than life, not the same size as the guys pumping gas. And that is Darby Allin. That is the Young Bucks. That is, Perry. That is Sammy Guevara. That is Marco Stunt. That is Daniel Garcia. That's like half of AEW. That's not good.
I know. They really need to do like a junior heavyweight division, and then I'll watch Orange Cassidy and Garcia all fucking day. I'll watch Wheeler Yuta and Commander all day, dude. You just make it a cruiserweight division. Well, why? Well, because it's 2024 and there's fucking weight classes, and if Conor McGregor is the biggest star in the fucking world, regardless of weight class, but we know his weight classes. Like, that's the thing. We know that about him. He fights guys his fucking size.
It's not even that. You look at TNA, which everybody goes LOL TNA, but you looked at their main event, which was Slammiversary, their 6-way tag team or 6-way elimination. It was Moose, Macklin, Joe Hendry, Josh Alexander, Dolph Ziggler, Frankie Kazarian, and all of those guys are built. They're cut. They're over 200 pounds. They're over 6 feet tall. They look like professional athletes. And then you looked at last week's, main event, and it's like, holy crap, these guys look like that they just walked out of like some high school, drama club. And you're sitting there like, oh crap, what am I watching? Seriously, what am I watching?
Well, you're watching a show that's designed for and by the sickos and the dirt sheets. And speaking of the dirt sheets, Tony Khan hires dirt sheet folk. And this whole Shane McMahon debacle is because Tony's trying to leak to the sheets to garner interest. He thinks he's already got all the sheets fans. He's already got all the Meltzer fans wrapped up. They're the ones already watching everything, but he's still just catering to them. And he thinks this is going to garner more interest. It's not. And one person from the sheets who everyone shits on a lot. My opinions, I've always said, like, I don't mind Will Washington at all. I follow him on X. I think he's a cool guy. But I did put out a tweet one time that got some people mad where I was like, wait, isn't Will Washington there supposed to be helping with like the creative and the long-term booking? Ever since he's got there, that's been the worst. There's no long-term booking in AEW. It seems crazy, right? So the other week, we covered it on this show. Tony Khan was talking about how there was a prominent member of wrestling journalists, a prominent member in wrestling journalism told me that WWE's leaking, or their PR's leaking information about our TV deals. Well, a lot of people were like, yeah, that's Dave Meltzer. And of course, it could be him. It could be a combination of all of these people. But Will Washington, a lot of people threw his name out there like, no, he's the one saying this shit. And so this tweet at D Loves Wrestling: is Will Washington viewed as an untrustworthy snake by those in AEW? On the latest Devon and the Duke, Testify Devon sounds off on what he's been told about Tony Khan's favorite assistant. Now, if you guys remember, Devon Dudley has twin sons. Okay? The new Dudley boys. No, that's not their name, but they wrestled in AEW like a handful of times in that pandemic era. They were wrestling. I believe they did work in Reality of Wrestling with Booker T in that. But yeah, Devon and the Duke, I guess they have a pod together. So shout them out. Shout out that podcast. Shout out Devon Dudley, one of the GOATs. And here's what he has to say about what he's been told about Will Washington, dude. So this could tie into, well, it's not could. It does tie into just the overarching, when Tony surrounds himself with the sheet guys, it's just a big old dirt sheet mess. of a company, it feels like, right? And that's the vibe it's giving off, because that's what it sort of is. And Devon touches on that more. Let's hear what he has to say.
Tony Khan said that one of the dirt sheet writers confided in him that somebody from WWE PR floated this story, and it wasn't true, that AEW had an agreement in principle with WBD.
WWE is not worried about Tony Khan. I can tell you that right off the bat. They ain't worried about him. Tony Khan is too busy worried about WWE. Someone who I admire very well in this business that works for AEW is Swerve. Great guy, but I do know that his cousin, I think it is, who's a dirt sheet writer who basically is in Tony's ear a lot, that might have been the one that basically pretty much said that to him.
So who's somebody that Devon respects a lot? Swerve Strickland, obviously, because he's the world champion. And why? Well, why do I say Swerve? Because he says, oh, someone's cousin. Well, Will Washington is Swerve's cousin. He got him a job, and Will Washington used to work for Fightful and be a dirt sheet writer or whatever. So that's obviously who Devon's talking about. You can just deduce it that simply. Be Batman, Batman. Just be Batman for a second. Let's bring that back a step, and let's hear what Devon's saying. And this is like, Tony projects it. Oh, WWE's leaking PR. And Devon's like, they're not worried about him. They're just making fun of him. And Shawn Michaels has his girls out there doing what the Young Bucks do. And they're just making fun of them, dude. They're not, it's because they're not actually worried about AEW as far as competition wise. And this isn't just shit all over AEW. Just AEW's got no reason for anybody to go, oh, they are competition. Realistically, by any measurable, it's projection. We've covered it ad nauseum on this show. Tony's projecting all the fucking time. Meltzer and them, they're projecting all the goddamn time. Tony's WWE because he's so focused on them. And they're not really focused on him. Are they focused on like taking little pod shots? Some of them, the ones who know, they're laughing behind closed doors. But anyways, we've deduced it's Will Washington, because Swerve, that's the connection right there. Here we go.
Who's a dirt sheet writer who basically is in Tony's ear a lot. That might have been the one that basically pretty much said that to him. If it was Swerve's cousin that said that to him, which probably was, as far as I'm concerned, from my understanding, from people in the locker room, the 3 times I was there in the meetings, every single person said he's a snake. And they don't know why Tony Khan is trusting him. I don't know him personally, but in what I've seen and his demeanor and all that, I got to tend to agree that they're probably right. He can write whatever he wants to say about me, but the bottom line is everybody in that locker room thinks that you're a snake. And if you're a snake...
Damn, dude. So he's saying everybody in the locker room in AEW thinks that Will Washington's a snake, bro, and that's the world champ's cousin. Damn. You what? I don't know, chat. Chris Connor, what do you make all this?
There's just no hierarchy, Vo. I mean, you look at, how most of these companies are structured. When you look at any professional company, it's like, all right, how did they get hired? There's a background of like, well, this guy got hired because he has a pedigree in this, he did this, or he was hired because of this, and they report to this person. And Tony is hired people because too many of them are like friends of this person or friends of that person. Why is he? And it's just sort of like there's been factions of like, oh, this is the Young Bucks faction, or this is the Cody faction, and we've seen it, and it's getting out of control. I mean, are we surprised? Like, how many people are they're in this they're on Ring of Honor because they pissed off this person, or they're on Collision because they pissed off that person? Are we shocked yet? Because this is it. I mean, Sammy Guevara, why is he on Ring of Honor? Oh yeah, it's because he is on, Mercedes Moné's crap list. We can't say that, but we all know it, so that's why he's on Ring of Honor.
And they try to pretend, no, it's not that. It's like, yeah, it is. You guys all
why
know
is Excalibur is still commentating? Well, because he's a Young Bucks friend. We can't say that, but that's why we know. Why is Ian Raccaboni still commentating, but Kevin Kelly's not? Well, because he is a friend of the Young Bucks. Eh? But I mean, it's this is becoming sort of it's just Will Washington is connected to the right people. He knows the right people, and until this, it goes back to CM Punk's comments. Tony Khan, is not a businessman. He's a guy who wants to be friends with everybody. He's not serious about making money. I mean, if he was serious about making money, he would have fired a lot of people. At this point, he would have trimmed the roster down. He would have put certain people in charge. He would have hired certain people to write the show. He would have stepped back from being the the creative guy behind this.
Yeah, if it's about the fans, like he said, then he would have stepped back from creative and started running smaller buildings to give them a better experience too. At the big buildings, it's not fun just being in an empty, hollow fucking little building, dude. You get beers quicker, but it's like, come on, man. And like, here's the thing with Devon. By all accounts of anything I've ever heard about this guy, and you can go listen to like Maven Huffman's podcast, shout him out, and any other show, like anytime Devon gets brought up, everyone says he's the coolest, nicest guy. And he keeps it real. He keeps it real. And like, he's a legend in the business. People are going to say, what are you going to say? Devon's old and needs a job. He's been in the office for WWE forever. He can go he's one of the greatest, half of the greatest tag teams of all time. He's honored, legacy set in stone. Him and Bubba will have a home in WWE. It's not like he needs to go anywhere. And he's like, you can write whatever you guys want about me. So for him to even go this vicious and be like, everyone thinks you're a snake, by all accounts, Devon is, oh, my brother, testify. He's not telling no lies, bro. Like, apparently he's super respectful and nice, but he's a guy who'll keep it real, That's what you hear from anybody who ever describes him. So it's just, what are they going to say? Oh, he's old, washed up, needs a job. He's been in office for WWE forever. You can't even say that about him, So it's just another account. Now, who knows? He's saying everyone in the locker room. We haven't heard this from anyone else, but it wouldn't surprise me. You just broke it down, Chris Connor. It would not surprise me because of the things you brought up, right? It's just like cliquey. It's high school bullshit. It's Bush League. So let's hear what Devon and the Duke have to finish saying here about it. I'll bring it back a little bit. But yeah, he's saying everyone thinks you're a fucking snake. Like, he's going hard, dude.
In that locker room thinks that you're a snake. And if you're a snake, then if they think that, then turns out you probably are.
Swerve's cousin, I'm assuming you're talking Will Washington, who Tony Khan hired.
When I've asked the questions, who is that guy? I've gotten the same response from everybody. Even when I was on the Jericho cruise and his name came up, that
Devon's like, whose man's is this?
was what was being said. And, again, I'm not going out there saying anything bad about him, but I'm telling you what the perception is about him within the company that he works for. And these are
it's just because these dudes just want to be friends so bad with him. And like, I won't lie, dude. I would love to be friends with wrestlers too.
Explain to me this. Let me jump in quickly. Why was Will Washington hired? And then tell me what his qualifications are. I mean,
because he just would put out positive press about AEW all the time. And once Swerve got hired there, that's his cousin. So that's why he got hired, like right off rip. I know that for sure. But what are his qualifications? That's another story. I'm not familiar with his whole background other than he was like a sheet writer for Fightful, right?
Which, look, if that was... I understand if this was like college basketball and you're trying to recruit somebody. That I've seen that happen when you're trying to get like somebody to come to a college. That happens a lot. You'll hire, a guy's father to, hey, get him to come there. And usually it's one of those things. But if you already have Swerve, why are you hiring his friend? Because, well, he's already there. It's just, as I said, it's Tony just going, well, I want, just a buddy. Hey, I'm hiring somebody because it's, friends of this guy or friends of that guy. It's too many of these people. It's becoming like just, you have the Young Bucks, and all of a sudden, it's one of the Young Bucks' wives is like in charge of merchandise, or you have,
Right. Yeah, no,
Colt
nepotism.
Cabana's there. Why is Colt
that,
Cabana there? It's like all of these people are there, and you're looking, going, why are they there? I mean, QT Marshall, he was, his contract was up. Why did you bring him back? And all of a sudden now you're just going,
yeah, because WWE didn't want him
there. And that's
WWE
become the
didn't
problem
want
with
him,
AEW. Just too many people all of a sudden, are you friends with Tony or friends with this guy or friends with that guy. And the running joke has become, this is AEW. It is the retirement home for a retirement plan for a lot of wrestlers.
No, you're right, dude. But it should be, we got to stress this here. Devon's saying, like, Devon's like, I'm around the business. He's like, I'm on the Jericho cruise and I'm asking people, who is this motherfucker? And they go, oh, this guy's a snake. And basically what Devon's insinuating is everybody goes, this guy's a fucking snake and Tony hired him because he's Swerve's cousin. That's crazy that he's saying. He's like, whatever, they can write whatever bullshit they want about me. So I don't know, man. Why would Devon just make this up? What does he gain?
He isn't, but it's part of the problem with AEW. Is that you have too many of these people who I've got hired because, well, this guy is a friend of this guy, or this person is dating that person, or this person is married to, one of the CEOs or one of the VPs. And this is how you're getting.
Yeah, let's let these guys finish this clip here. You're right, dude. It's a horse that's been beat to death for fucking months and a year, but this is just more evidence of it. So here, let's
and his name came up. That was what was being said. And again, I'm not going out there saying anything bad about him, but I'm telling you what the perception is about him within the company that he works for. And these are people that say, well, I'm nice to him because if I'm not nice to him, he'll go to Tony, say something, I'm off for TV.
Oh my God. I'm nice to him because if I'm not nice to him, he'll go to Tony and Tony will take me off TV. Oh my God. What? That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. This shit is not. Oh, come on now, Chris Connor. That's not very fair, Phil. That's not very fair, Eric, to say that AEW. Come on now, Devon. Don't testify on this one, okay? That's not very fair to say that Will Washington's a snake just like that, just because everybody told you, including myself on the Jericho cruise. Oh, come on now, Eric. That's not very fair. If AEW is healthy, then Will Washington has a position here. Oh, come on here. Come on, man. I'm sitting here going, dude, is this really good for wrestling when this is the shit going on? Think about how much of a morale killer that is. My word, dude.
To him, he'll go to Tony, say something, I'm off for TV. So I don't say anything.
That's sad, dude. That's really honestly sad. Shout out Will Washington. I don't know. Oh my God.
This is great.
Never ceases to amaze me. LC Killer, I know you've been waiting a long time. I saw the super chat. We were onto something. I feel like something bad is going to happen at All In. Well, yeah. I mean, if something bad does happen at All In, then it could be the end of AEW as we know it. I'm not praying for that to happen, though. I really hope something bad does not happen at All In. However, that being said, thanks for the transition. SummerSlam is selling more tickets than All In, and Julian Weeks is saying that's not something I expected, especially since All In tickets went on sale 5 months before SummerSlam. That's crazy. And at All In here, we see at Wembley Stadium in London, 44,646 tickets distributed, not even at 45. I keep saying 45, and it's not even 45. So, I mean, I've been liar. And they're set up for 51,314. SummerSlam is set up for 55,667. They've distributed 49,459 tickets, you guys. Holy shit. They are doing like 50K. Thank you so much for the super chat. I will give you a Conan. they are doing like $50K for SummerSlam as opposed to this WrestleMania, the highest attended whatever, and it's about half the attendance, maybe a little more than that. And that's the shoot work number that Tony Khan worked as well. I wouldn't be shocked if last minute he buys an extra 10K and then he goes, oh, look, it did beat SummerSlam actually. Because that's what he did at Wembley last year, just out of nowhere. 10K tickets go, just disappear from out of nowhere. So whatever. I don't care. I don't want to hear turnstile numbers, whatever. And that's awesome that AEW is able to draw 44K. But domestically, man, where it counts for a SummerSlam, we see the SummerSlam card. Maybe we can break it down later, but yeah, WWE domestically showing their superior. Hats off for All In, but all of this shenanigans, all of this extra cope, all of the IWC being extra unhinged, it's all just to build up to All In. They want to knock it out of the park. They want to do a babillion pay-per-view sales. It's not going to do that. I think we won't hear anything about a TV deal until after All In. And I think Tony's really hoping that show goes over the limit, if you will. But let's be honest here, man. We're not going to call SummerSlam a B pay-per-view, but if we're going to tier them, right, let's say WrestleMania is the A or the S tier, then SummerSlam would be an A tier pay-per-view. And their A tier pay-per-views are doing 50K. Your WrestleMania is only doing 44 fucking K. And you can talk all the shit you want about Wembley, but WWE is going to show up to Wembley, do a WrestleMania there. I believe WrestleMania 45, and they are going to draw probably like 100,000 people. And then Tony's not going to have that either. And I'm not sitting here doing a point finger, let's laugh, haha, shit on them, kick them while they're down. But I just want to point out, like, that's where the desperation's coming from. I think Tony really thought they would do 50,000 and have to open up for 60,000. But no, it's not even doing 45,000. And if it does 45,000, I believe that's a $5 million gate. So boom, you got Mercedes' salary, let alone all the other wrestlers, let alone all the other. So this just isn't shaping up to be good. And like, they're going to get an underwhelming TV deal as well, by what it seems like. And you have Unhinged Mark's AEW lore saying, oh, it's been confirmed to insiders at AEW lore they're getting 1.3 billion for AEW. Don't listen to any of that. That's never going to happen. And it's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate because Tony had this thing. We're at the 5-year mark, and it looks like we're just heading nowhere but down from here. Chris Connor, I want your thoughts on SummerSlam versus Wembley and WrestleMania in Wembley and all the shit I was just ranting about for 10 minutes.
As far as Wembley, I mean, this has been a long time coming. I mean, they've been wanting. I mean, we've seen TKO or UFC for years. They've been doing overseas, big, invading over Australia, UK shows, doing, the O2 Arena, doing, Australia. So they've proven they can just sell out the big arenas. And ever since they bought, WWE, it's been one of those, we want to do the big stadiums in the UK. We want to do the big stadiums in Australia. Once Vince got pushed out, that became more of a easier and easier sell, an easier and easier thing to do. And once the London mayor became invested in doing that, all of a sudden it became full scale go. Now the key is going to be sort of when, in terms of like, is it going to be 40, WrestleMania 45, 44? How much are they willing to pay? It's now, but it's going to happen. It's going to be a 2-day event. How quickly do they want to do it? It's going to be a multiple thing, but it's going to happen. And look, it's the next step will be then when we see a WrestleMania in Australia, because that's good, because they've been teasing all of this year. This is the UFC model, which is, hey, if you have the money, we will anywhere, anytime, any place. So, as I said, get ready for more WrestleManias overseas. This has been the blueprint, and look, if you have the cash, we will sell this place anywhere, anytime, any place. As far as SummerSlam, look, this is a card which I would expect some title changes, some swerves. I definitely think we're going to see a new champion in Gunther. I would expect we'll see the return of Roman Reigns. I'm looking forward to the card vote because I think this is going to be kicking off the fall season. I think we're going to see a lot of the push to the Survivor Series. We're going to start working towards Survivor Series. The War Games are going to start. A lot more momentum will be going on, and this is where we're going to start kicking things off. This is where we're going to see now the push towards newer storylines, newer things, and just in general, like the turn towards like fresher storylines going forward.
Well, let's hope that that is what happens. So yeah, guys, that's about all I can add to the ticket discussion. Make sure you're hitting that like button. I'm gonna creep now, guys. I'm gonna bug you. There's like 120, 125, 130 of you, somewhere in that range watching. We're at 63 likes. Let's run those up to 100, please and thank you. Please and thank you. Daniel Bryan comes out. He's doing the yes chant. Apparently he trademarked, or he's filing for the trademark back. I told y'all he was going to get that back because WWE doesn't want no heat or no smoke with like any legal stuff. So he started doing it on TV without actually saying it. And now he's like filed for the trademark. So he's going to get the yes thing, and they're going to be selling yes merch in AEW. Probably not actually because their merch game sucks. But yeah, I don't know. I won't shit on it and be like, oh, that's a WWE thing. That's like a fucking that's like a Daniel Bryan thing, you know, in my opinion. But yeah, run those likes up because I want to talk more about Tony Khan. We have some veterans in the game, some legends talking about Tony Khan who have comments as well. I have it put all together for you guys, but I need to see those likes get ramped up, so let's see it. As I scroll down here, and we're going to talk about Tony Khan. You guys can see it, and I got some CVV. Chris Van Vliet actually fucking acknowledged Giga Chad Van Vliet.
Acknowledge me.
I called him Giga Chad Van Vliet because he has Jesse Ventura coming on his show. And what he did was during the interview, he got Karrion Kross to show up. It's not out yet, but he got Jesse Ventura on the show, and then he got Karrion Kross to show up and do his Jesse Ventura impression to Jesse Ventura. And then he got Will Sasso to call in and do his Jesse Ventura impression to Jesse Ventura. And so I tweeted it, and I was like, oh, my God, Giga Chad Van Vliet. And then he responded to it with a handshake emoji, and he was like GCVV. So he acknowledged Giga Chad.
Acknowledge me.
BWT universe going crazy everywhere. I'm telling you, man, we're getting acknowledged more and more. John Cena followed me. Okay, we got Giga Chad Van Vliet acknowledging his fucking who he is, truly deep down, the Giga Chad, the alpha male that we see him for to be. And yeah, fellow Canucks, so shut him out. I ain't got time to bleed. See that in the chat? Ain't got time to bleed. Chris Connor, what's your favorite Jesse the Body Ventura movie or moment?
Probably the original Predator, because that was,
Yeah.
It was, it's just a peak of him where, we see him, in the story where he tells a story where we're going to, where, the director's saying, hey, we're going to do a love scene with, eventually in another movie with your wife. And he's going, all right. Hey. And he starts cutting in. He's like, hey, you can do that. But I can't guarantee that you might survive this. And the director as he tells the story, the director just starts having the blood rushes from his face, and it's like, yeah, you can actually see the director do that as Jesse Ventura is just like dead serious about that.
Ain't got time to
Threatening the
bleed.
director.
It's the greatest line ever. Okay, guys, make sure you're hitting that like button. I want to see 100 likes, or else I'll never stop asking. And it's free, you know, and you just support me that way. The algo, as the kids call it. Just kidding. But okay, more on Tony Khan. So this is via Wrestle Purists, right? Scott Steiner says, when asked about AEW, he says, it's great for another place for the guys to work, AEW. Competition's always good for, I'm trying to do like where's he from? A Minnesotan accent. Competition's always good for the business. But there's no doubt that WWE is hot right now. They got the fan interest. That's what's most important. My freaks, my peaks, and my the thing is, you can't just have matches. Nobody gives a shit if they're just matches with no storyline. You're throwing two guys together. So that's what Scott Steiner's got to say. Now, a bunch, of course, the IWC, you know, there's a bunch of people like, I'm loving the AEW stands, but spoken from someone that clearly doesn't watch the AEW product. Why is there still a narrative that AEW don't have stories? Because they don't, bro. Like, stories with no substance aren't stories. They're just a series of events happening. Okay? And stories are just a series of events, right? But they are more than that as well, right? Like a series of events is like the structure, maybe like a skeleton, but actually not even. The skeleton's like the narrative, like where do we start? Where do we end? You know, it's not even always about, oh, we got to learn something. Look at Family Guy. They tell a story where you don't really learn a life lesson, but you get, you know, so if there's no substance, it just doesn't matter. If you don't know why people are doing things, there's no motive, then it does not matter. So yes, there are stories in AEW, but it's not really stories. It's just mostly things happening. But there are some good, you know, Tony Storm, like we see up here, but it's not even like Tony Storm and Mina and all of that is like, oh, it's this great, compelling story. It's just really interesting characters doing kind of funny shit. And then they're having solid matches. And it's like larger than life. And it's HLA. Yeah, it's hot women doing things, you know? So it works, you know, it works on these different, it's not like it's a bloodline level story being told, or it's fucking one of these great stories, right, in the annals of wrestling history. But that is a solid story, you know. As far as Swerve, who's coming out right now, him and Danielson and Hangman, all that shit's bullshit and nonsensical. The Owen Hart, why did that tie into things? None of it makes sense. So Goldberg, though, had something so that's Scott Steiner's opinion, but Goldberg also had something to say. Speaking of Giga Chad Van Vliet, here's the post. He acknowledged this. We can look at this. Giga Chad Van Vliet with another insane W, and then GCVV with a handshake. Let's fucking go, Giga Chad Van Vliet. The prophecy. So we're gonna switch over to this other tab here. Boom. You guys can see that PWT universe. There he is, the almighty. And here's what Goldberg has to say about Tony Khan as well.
You'd said before you've had many conversations with Tony Khan. How come those didn't lead to anything?
I think we have a different perspective on it. I think. I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to really pass judgment on their production because I don't watch it. I see clips of it. And it's hard to give a rational breakdown of how they are if I don't really watch it. So I don't really.
I mean, that's an indictment right there.
No, he reminds me of Dixie Carter.
Is that a good thing?
But a male version. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but he reminds me of that scenario, and it's just a different feel. It's just different.
Oh, come on now. Dixie Carter's great. Don't take shots like that. Just because her dad gave her money and my dad gave me money doesn't mean that we're not great.
Close to making a deal with them, or were these just conversations?
No, I don't think I was ever close to making a deal with him. I think it was much more a realistic transition when Sting was involved, because that's why I reached out to Sting, because I wanted to be a part. I thought he and I could do a farewell thing at some point together, but it wasn't about me. It was about Sting. And I didn't want, I could never overshadow
So
anything.
see, that was planned. I was like, damn, dude, what if Goldberg shows up at last Wembley for the Sting match? I was like, that's the only way you can do it. And I don't know. That was discussed, but I don't know. It never came to fruition. So we were right, PWT Universe, on that fantasy mark booking.
He does. But I don't want to convolute the water. Right. It would have been a nice crescendo, but it wasn't about me.
Yeah, so there you go, man. He basically called him Dixie Carter. So Chris Connor, your thoughts on, Scott Steiner and Goldberg, also just, talking about just basically confirming what everybody thinks about Tony Khan. Your thoughts on these veterans, these legends, and then these IWC marks going at these fucking legends, man. Screw those guys. Sorry, your thoughts, Chris.
I mean, are they wrong? I mean, that's what we've been saying that for years. I mean, that's what Tony is. He's Dixie Carter 2.0, or I've called him worse. I basically said he is Herb Abrams, except with more money. He doesn't know what he's doing. The show has gone down for the last 5 years. He's everybody's, best buddy, and that's what he is. I mean, we've gotten to the point now where it's what else can we say about him? I mean, is he a great booker? No, he doesn't book a show. He just makes matches. He doesn't, hold anybody accountable. That's what he is. I don't know what else we can tell you. It's gotten to the point now where everybody has admitted that, even his critics, his friends. That's what everybody says. Oh, he's a nice guy. He's not a booker.
Speaking of which, Kenny Omega at Kenny Omega Man X tweeted out yesterday. He quote tweeted, Gabe Kidd was saying some shit about Omega. I want you, like, to fight you, like tick tick. And then Omega goes, you must have forgotten that I work for AEW. Most of our roster are delusional psychopaths like you, so I'm kind of used to the shtick. I'll tell you what, brah. Go win that G1, and maybe I'll think about gifting you with the Kenny Omega touch, the same one that scored all your top talent that bag here in the US. Good luck. I don't know. I like this Kenny. Obviously he's working here, but I don't know. I think that's super funny. And I love when Kenny goes off like this. He was talking about shooting on Dave and stuff. That might have been a work shoot, who knows, but then Dave responded to it and seemed to take offense to it, so maybe it was real, who knows. But Kenny to WWE, that's the agenda, one of the many agendas here at PWT. Do you think Kenny Omega would thrive in a WWE like I do?
I think a couple of years ago he would. I mean, now I just don't know. I mean, he's old. It's just
you're struggling with it.
He's never been the greatest at promo. I mean, it's just there comes a time when your body gives up on you. I mean, we're not sure how his health is. We're not sure, what he can do anymore. I mean, we saw what happened with Brock Lesnar when diverticulitis hit him. He wasn't the same guy. So,
right.
Imagine what it does to a guy who's, not the athlete that Brock was.
But then once Brock got rid of once he got his the surgery, though, he said he felt like he was fucking 25 again. So that
was also a guy who was a freak athlete,
exactly
his best days. So
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, as I
think Kenny, though, I think that. Oh, sorry, Chris, but I was going to say I think that's why Kenny should go to WWE, is because the wear and tear. Like, fuck it, they'll protect you, and you got to do a dive like at WrestleMania. You don't got to dive on Raw, maybe a couple Raws, but I think Kenny could come in and be a guy like a Punk where he doesn't need to wrestle all the time, and they could use him as somewhat of an attraction. Or maybe not. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but I think there is real hype behind him, and there's a reason why in the WWE 2K video games they put all of his moves and all of his fucking taunts and his entrance and all. They've done it for years now. Like they want him. I know they want him there. Okay, I've said it on the show a long time ago. They would love to have a Kenny Omega there. The more he falls apart, the less though, and the less he's worth. But I don't know, guys. We'll see. We'll see. Speaking of AEW talent, shelved talent, and their best years, I don't want to talk shit like that about Thunder Rosa, but guys, she was on the shelf for a long time, and it seems like she's locked in AEW for a while. But Thunder Rosa said that WWE is targeting AEW's market with WrestleMania in London. And then she caught a bunch of flack for this. Now, I think it was a little unjust. Like, people didn't need to go that hard on her over this. And then the same person who posted that posted another screenshot and said, I'll give Thunder Rosa credit. The article was very clickbaity. And AEW star Thunder Rosa appeared on Busted Open Radio, where she talked about a number of topics, including WWE having a conversation with London Mayor Sadiq Khan right before All In. Rosa said, I think it's very interesting, the timing that this is happening. It's so interesting. It's game on. Game is on, and they are doing everything business-wise to become a company that is bulletproof right now, and they're targeting a market AEW is targeting. It's capitalism 101. So this clickbait headline was clickbaity, right? On how the fans benefit from competition. There's money to be made everywhere, and you know who the winners are, the fans. They see the money that can be made. She said, so this is the whole thing. This whole clickbait fucking headline was a lie. Like, first and foremost, let's address that. So pretty sure. Okay, so saying that, well, let's go back here, folks. Okay, let's break this down. Thunder Rosa says WWE is targeting AEW's market with WrestleMania in London. She never even said that. It's a fucking lie. Liar! She didn't say that. What she said was, I think it's very interesting the timing that this is happening. It's game on. They're doing everything business-wise to become a company that is bulletproof and now targeting a market that AEW is targeting. So they're just targeting a market that another company's targeting. Well, every wrestling company's targeting the same fucking markets. Now, when it gets to the bigger scale, markets get broken down into smaller. Chris Connor, you understand this. The bigger you are in scale, it's almost like the smaller the market sizes get broken down to, so you can try and cover all of them. But when you're larger or smaller scale, typically you just want to appeal to as many people as you can to get to that bigger scale before you start locking in on obviously you have your niches, everybody does, but if you guys understand what I'm saying here, all she said was that they're focusing on the same market of the UK, and she just said it's interesting the timing considering All In's coming up. But maybe that was dumb to say, because it's like, well, the mayor fucking is the one who brought it up. It's not like WWE's like, oh, we're going to go there and play the game in Wembley. It's not like that. It's like fucking the mayor's like, if you guys reelect me, I will bring WrestleMania here, and he's the one who brought it up. So I don't think it's like a conspiratorial timing thing like that. But Thunder Rosa, though, catching heat. So Awful just goes so hard at her, dude. And I just feel like this is a little harsh, man. Awful says off a fake headline. Okay, I just proved it. She didn't say what that clickbait shit even said. Okay, so Awful goes, for anyone wondering why Thunder Rosa is waving the AEW flag out of nowhere, it's quite simple. Let's not play games. AEW was supposed to take her places, but high school drama. If you guys remember, Thunder Rosa was chased into the fucking toilet stalls by Britt Baker and her clique. They wanted to kick her ass, and there has always been drama with her being held back, apparently. And so Awful says, let's not play games. AEW is supposed to take her places, but high school drama and booking lowered whatever appeal she had. Not really knowing how to play the game. She never fought hard for herself and got lost on the roster. During that time, I'm sure she sent out feelers, heard nothing back, and had to hitch her wagon to the only horse, Tony Khan. And Thunder Rosa, age 38, Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico. She's 38 now. In her later years, for sure. Like, I wish she went to WWE a few years ago, but she went with AEW, and yeah, she got hurt, and they froze her contract for sure. So she's there longer than she expected as well. And Awful just throwing daggers at her for a fake and phony headline. So I don't know. I don't think she deserves all that heat and hate she's been getting from the IWC. But also, you got to fucking support your team, dude. Like, let's say you're a hockey player and you get traded to, you know, a team. Let's say you played for the Penguins, but then you get traded to the fucking Philadelphia Flyers or whatever, and they traded you when you had 7 years on your fucking deal. Are you gonna not rep the Philly Flyers? You know what I mean? You gotta do what you gotta do, man. So I don't give her flack for that, but yeah, shout out Awful doing his thing. Chris, what do you make of all that? And Thunder Rosa, do you think she's another flop by AEW, or do you just think it's more of the injuries held her back? And yeah, what do you think of all this?
I hate saying flop because too much of it is just sort of, it's Tony. You know, Tony gets bored. He finds it's new toy, and then he gets bored. And he finds a new toy to play with. This isn't, this isn't like a free agent signing in baseball where, you find somebody, they don't perform well, and then it's like the player, isn't that good. It's, in case in point, Deonna Purrazzo, TNA had her. She was one of their best wrestlers. Didn't do well in WWE because they just, didn't see her. Goes over to TNA or Impact Wrestling, kills it. Turns into one of the best female wrestlers in the world. Nobody can argue with that. Contract runs out. Goes to AEW. Tony puts in a program. Takes on Tony Storm. And then all of a sudden, she loses to Tony Storm, and then Tony just puts her in with Thunder Rosa, gets bored, and all because, hey, here's Mercedes Moné, and Tony just loses interest. Is it Deonna Purrazzo's fault, or is it just, hey, well, Tony gets bored because Tony, once again, new toy, yay!
Yeah,
that's Thunder Rosa's falling the same trap. It's out, new toy, yay!
And I should have clipped this with the Scott Steiner Goldberg stuff. I forgot to, but another WCW legend and WWE Hall of Famer, Booker T, believes Tony Khan needs to hire someone to help him with creative. So can you dig that, sucker? And yeah, I agree. We already talked about it, but yeah, I wanted to further put that on that little thing. So I'm going to have fun clipping that. But and then also what I wanted to add on to that was, so Sean Ross Sapp responds to Fightful's report about Scott Steiner on AEW. You can't just have matches. And Sean Ross Sapp says, I don't think anyone making this criticism actually watches AEW at this point or has for a long time. You can say you don't like the stories because entertainment is subjective, true. But to say they don't exist isn't genuine. Right, but like, okay, stories exist in like bad TV shows that get canceled too. It doesn't mean that they're stories of substance. I guess we need to break it down for these motherfuckers. Like when we say no story, we mean like none in comparison. We all share the commonality of language, and these motherfuckers love playing semantics. Okay.
There are no
Neckbeard's
stories. Let's face it right now. Like AEW right now has a 6-man tag match between Rush,
Ishii, Toros, fucking yeah,
versus Cassidy, one of the Briscoes, and like what's the story between all these guys?
They're literally that 6-man tag. Well, I guess so. Like I guess Briscoe, Cassidy, and other buddy are called the Conglomerate. Ishii, like I guess they're a faction or something. I don't know, bro. I don't fucking know. Like this.
Like this,
I love Roosh and shit, but yeah.
I mean, this isn't like you look on Raw. It's for Judgment Day versus Uso, and then it's just been carrying on. It's Finn Balor, against Gunther, which was carrying on with Damian Priest and Gunther, and there was, you saw Sami Zayn, with Dominic Mysterio, with the ever presence of Braun Breaker. I mean, there was a storyline within this. There was, everything was connected. This wasn't just like random matches we're throwing in there. That is AEW, which they just throw crap in there. And there it's like, it's just 6-man tag matches for the sake of 6-man tag matches.
And so I quote tweet like neckbeards, and this isn't me like singling out Sap either, guys. Like this, it's just I had to go off on this, and you can see I got the shiny new blue check, which is better for my postings. And I do notice like more interactions on my posts and stuff, which is good because we need to get the flutes out there around the world. We need to get this show out there around the world. And so I just quote tweet this and I say, the problem is these people don't understand what makes a good story. Now, for me, I don't want anyone in wrestling to take this fucking personally coming from your boy Phil Marks, because I also work in like movies and video games and comic books and all that shit and TV and stuff like that. Okay. And I am talking in that world too. It's these journalists, these quote unquote, these like activist journalists. I've talked about it on a show before. They fucking don't make it like writing or do like they're not in the wrestling business, so they're in wrestling business adjacent where they think they're not good enough to write shit, actual creative shit. So they just make up shit or they do like news and give their little fucking takes or whatever. You know what I mean? And so this happens in entertainment as well. Insiders, people from the set of who know Ryan Reynolds, an unnamed source says Kim Kardashian farts into cups. Like it's the same exact thing. It's just pro wrestling on this side of it. So wrestling people freak out when I say this sort of shit, but this is something that affects me, your boy Phil, out in and outside of wrestling as well. Like this is just a blanket general statement. This isn't me singling anyone out. And I just wrote, the problem is these people don't understand what makes a good story. Yes, things happen, but that doesn't constitute a story just because it's happening. There's zero substance, or things are rushed or nonsensical. No questions or motivations are ever explained or fleshed out. Swerve, being a babyface, is always going to be nonsensical until he atones or redeems himself for raiding a baby's crib. Until he does that, him in a heroic or babyface role destroys any aspect of a story or narrative being told on a fundamental level. Period. A human nature level, guys. Good versus evil. There's no debating that. It's writing and character development. Development 101. That's just one example. Dirt sheet writers especially don't know how to actually write or structure stories, or else they do that and not be hack pseudo-journalists. Trust me, I get paid a fat salary to write actual stories professionally. I do. The amount of hacks who try and fail in the entertainment industry as well. Now I'm relating it to the other side of hacks who fail and end up becoming pseudo-activist pop culture news writers is astounding. We all know about them. Same applies to wrestling. I watch AEW every single week. Someone explain to everyone else 3 stories going into AEW All In and what they're actually about. Who's involved and what are their motives for their upcoming matches? Okay? And you can give me an example. Like, there you go. I don't know. Do I have to give myself an air horn for that? Like, I will. I'll put... like, explain them. I got people going, here's one, two. Here's one. This guy here is like, Tony Storm was a mentor to Mariah May, who pretended to love her, only to turn on her the moment she showed some weakness. And now Tony wants revenge. Mercedes Moné. Actually, I never read this one before, so here we go. So Mercedes Moné came into the promotion thinking she owned the place when she won the TBS title at Forbidden Door. Britt Baker returned and upstaged her. Baker didn't like that Moné came in acting like she owned the place. Moné didn't want to give Baker a title shot because she's scared of her. But so you're just telling me all the things that happened like Wikipedia. That's great. That's great. I'm talking just the motive. So you said it. She came into the promotion thinking she owned the place. Right. But that wasn't initially. This is why that's a bad story, because that's not what was happening. Moné came in going, I'm the CEO of the greatest wrestler ever. And then Vaquer upstaged her. And then Vaquer went to WWE. And then Britt comes back and then is now in a babyface position. Because why? Because she's standing up for AEW. So we do have a through line, and I'm the first one to give them props. But don't tell me that's not a good, that's a rushed, out of nowhere fucking, you got 3 weeks to tell this story now. when this should be a 3-month fleshed out thing. So that, no, I'm not giving you a pass fully on that one. But even though I'm the first one to put over Monet and Baker. And then this Perry and Allen shit have been rivals for ages. What, the 5 years that because they both think they're pillars of the company. No, that's what Tony Khan said. They all did their, I'm a pillar, and that shit didn't work. And then they dropped all that. No, okay? This whole fucking pillar thing, no, that's not applying to fucking, I'm going to light Jack Perry on fire. Perry and his friends then hung Allen upside down and beat him. Yeah, we know he did that. Someone also didn't Allen jump through a pane of glass trying to get, people have thrown him off shit. People have kicked him down fucking stairs, etc., etc. I know. Yeah, it's pro wrestling. Okay. Allen returned still mad at Perry, but why specifically Perry? He was mad at fucking just everyone in general, like the Bucks and everyone. He threatened to light him on fire again during Blood and Guts unless he got the title shot. So this is, and then you go, you may not love those stories, but they are 3 stories. Fair. And I will give this guy that, and I'll concede that. Although I think July 29, when did I post mine? On the 28th. So fair enough. This guy came through a day later. I will give him that. Okay, you can argue those are stories, but those are ass fucking trash stories. And I may not like them, but the masses don't like them. Do you understand? Like, you're not in the majority talking down to me going, no, idiot, you just don't get it. Like, who wants to be a millionaire? Oh, let me ask the audience. And fucking 80% of the audience is saying the answer is B, and you pick C, bro. That's what you're trying to convince me to do, and I'm not biting. You know what I mean? So, yeah, kudos. You explained 3. Okay, great. That's awesome. I would argue none of those are fleshed out. None of those are cohesive. You can't just have Darby show up for Blood and Guts after fucking Perry's been teaming with Okada and feuding with fucking beating up Tony Khan and doing all this other shit. That doesn't tie into the pillars when MJF, I don't know, to me, none of that is sensical. There's no beats to that. There's no rhyme or reason. Fucking, it's just, here's Tony Khan dropping Allen off in a van to try and get pops and say he's on Team Elite. Right? Like the story would be all the pillars who hated each other come together to defend AEW but that's not the story being told. One of the quote unquote pillars is siding with the EVPs because he got choked out by CM Punk. That's literally what it is. And they got punched out by CM Punk. So no, that's not like it's a nonsensical, and you can go, oh, you might not like that. Not like if a TV show is Breaking Bad wouldn't be TV show if that was the beats to Breaking Bad. That shit would have sucked. So you can't argue like that's I can argue that's a non-story. You know what I mean? So there you go. I just went off on the shits. Scully Vibes for $2 says SRS is a Lego head bearded mark AEW. Oh my god. You just had to give it to him, guys. That's my fucking rant and rave, though, about the storytelling in AEW discussion. Okay, like these veterans know better. When we say no story, we all share the commonality of language. You all know that we mean just like it's not good. There's no substance, so it's not there, right? It's like when you say this band fucking sucks. It's like, yes, are they skilled musicians who can sing and play instruments and most people can't do that shit? Yes. But what we're saying is like the fucking music is ass. There's no substance to this. It's hacky. It's rip off of other shit. There's no real structure to the album, let's say, just like in AEW. Everyone's saying it. So the excuse is like, oh, well, it's just subjective. Well, objectively, people aren't fucking with it. And a bunch of our subjective opinions is that it's ass. So what do you guys got to say about that? We're just like, and that's the majority of people. Now I'm also, if the majority of people say jump off a cliff. Yeah, but the majority of people don't say that because we're not dummies.
Shut up, bitch.
Okay? So stop with these. People want to play these fucking, I'm rubber, you're glue. I know you are, but what am I on that shit? Okay? Whoo! Your boy Phil's cooking tonight. You better get those likes up, man. Where's the likes at tonight? Let's see. I got more to get into. We're not done. 78. I need 22 of you guys to hit that like, unless my math's awful, but I don't think it is. I'm ranting and raving. I'm hot as shit. 136 of you watching. We need those likes up to 100 for me to stop asking. And yeah, objectively, they have no clue how to structure a story. Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to say. You know, like these aren't actual. There's no beats, man. You have to have like oh man, there has to be like an end game, and it feels like everything's rushed. So, and then they told us, like the dirt sheets told us. So MJF fucking changed the belt so quickly, like what, 3 weeks away from fucking the pay-per-view, and then they only started feuding like 2 weeks ago when they bloodied up Garcia. So it's like, blah, you know, where the fuck is that's not enough time. People should be invested in this for all year almost, building up to, like, we had Cody and Roman all year. It built up to that, but then there were all these little side quests and side journeys for both guys. But at the end of the day, it was logical. And, you know, they attacked certain people they deemed threatening. The baby faces have to align in order to fight the fucking bloodline. It's like a Game of Thrones scenario where people are trying to usurp each other and take power. So you have that going while at the same time you have the exterior struggles. So we see their inner conflicts within the bloodline. We see the exterior conflicts, that the shit they can't control, right? And that's all interweaving. There's none of that shit. None of it whatsoever. And I don't care what anyone says. Now, you can argue the Ospreay stuff, but for what? For Garcia to come? This is what's going to happen. At Wembley, Garcia's going to come out in the main event and make the save on Ospreay or something. And then they're going to try really hard to get Garcia over. And I don't think anyone wants that. I think everybody's over that shit. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm ranting and raving about it. Chris Connor, what say you?
Yeah, I'll tell you the one
Chris
person. I'll say this. The one person in AEW who I think I would love to see them steal, if they could, is Mariah May. She's the only one right now I look at and go, they have a future star.
She is.
That's the one person that I look and go, yeah. She's the one you look at. MJF, yes, but man, they are ruining him. They are just screwing him in terms of the way that they put either Daniel Garcia or the constant just shoving people, it's a baby face or no heel or no, let's do this, and just all this stuff. Tony Storm, some of this stuff is I like Tony Storm, but sometimes everything just is, they've got to rein her in at times. It's gone way too much. Mariah May, to me, is just a one you look and go, damn, she's money. This is just money. And I just look and I still go, oh crap! If they have her lose to Tony Storm, I'll be pissed. I will legitimately be pissed because I can see Tony going, we're gonna have Tony beat her. We're gonna have Tony.
I think. May. Well, do you think that's it? Like Tony's got to lose at Wembley against Mariah May?
Yes, because that should be it. It should be Mariah May beats Tony Storm. But I can see. I'm
gonna X-Files you for a sec. I'm gonna tell you what I think is gonna happen. Tony Storm beats Mariah May, and then Jamie Hayter somehow does a run out type fucking, oh, it's Wembley, she's here in her hometown, blah blah blah, because apparently she's nearing returning to the ring, and they really wanted her at Wembley last year, but she got severely hurt as well, and she's young and on the come up. And I always said, like, Paige versus Hayter or Tony Storm versus Hayter is the match for Wembley. And I don't know, I say Tony Storm just keeps, it's proven, man. Mina, Mariah, and Tony at least bump their ratings a bit. Like, people stop their TVs to watch those lovely ladies. So I don't think Tony's, I know it's over the top and it needs to be reined in, but I like it. Like, I do love what she's doing, and it's a gimmick that is timeless. It would work anywhere in any setting. I truly believe that. And yeah, it's more over than whatever Monet's doing as she makes her way out to the ring.
That's my fear, is that eventually it's going to be Camille. Mercedes Moné will go over Tony Storm. She'll go. You know what? I want to be Tony Storm.
Yeah, Jamie will come back and help Britt against. Jamie will come back and help Britt against fucking Camille and what's her name? Monet, which makes a lot of sense as well. That does make perfect sense, and I see that happening. And via the Wrestle Purist, just to add on to this story, as StreamYard glitches out, I may have to back out and back in. Give me a second, guys. Here, Chris Connors, you host the show for just a sec.
All right, so this is one of a few times I will give AEW a credit for a squash. It's if you're gonna have Camille debut, which is the right thing to do. You're trying to have her there as a just monster heel enforcer. This is what you do. You just basically have somebody, it's independent worker, come in, get beat up, get mauled. Perfect. And they're doing it the right way. Hopefully it'll be a quick 2-minute, maybe the most 3-minute squash. You have her get destroyed, showcase Camille, or their raw power, destroying her, and that's it. That is how you introduce a monster.
Yeah, I agree, and I like this Monet, Britt Baker story. I've put it over. Same with Camille, and I like that in the chat. Whoever said that, cookies in the chat for that dude who said Hater will come back and save Britt from Monet and Camille, because that's great booking right there, brother. I didn't even think about that either. My booking's awful. They shouldn't go with it. But speaking of awful booking, so I was talking about Garcia, and that's what they hope for. So here's Brian Alvarez. We're still reserving the flutes. I want 100 likes for flutes. I think we're at 84 likes, guys. 131, 136, somewhere in that range watching. The black helicopter's taking us down. But yeah, and they just did a great squash match there with Camille. So anyways, though, speaking of Garcia, Brian Alvarez says when AEW did that angle, they were aware that Garcia may not be back. So they're trying to get everyone to believe that Garcia's contract's up and he may go to WWE and blah, 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 blah. It's not the truth, man. He fucking re-signed before. They're trying to get him over heavy. They got all this stock invested in Garcia when he ain't shit, in my opinion. But the angle was done in case he doesn't come back. If he does come back when they have a storyline feud with MJF. No one wants to see MJF and fucking Garcia, and clearly he's coming back. This is what I mean. The sheets try and work us for AEW, dude. That's why I think that Shane shit's a hoax. I know he had been thinking about it, or he had told people he had been thinking about it, what he was going to do. I don't think it's 100% that he's coming back. I will say that. But I don't think he's re-signed or decided to leave yet. Leave and go where? Who the fuck wants Garcia, dude? Where would Daniel Garcia leave AEW and go where?
Fucking Mark!
Go to NXT, bro? They're going to bring him in like Ethan Page? Fuck out of here, man. I just think that's ridiculous. They're clearly trying to do the bidding war thing with Garcia. They're doing everything they can to try and get this guy and fucking Yuta over. But now Tony Khan's bored with Yuta too. He got severely injured, came back. I think he dropped his belt, and who knows if he'll even be around for a while. But man, it's craziness. It's craziness. The CEO, but yeah, Mercedes is in the ring. I'm listening to her promo here as you guys get the likes up, and we talk about wrestlers going at more legends. A legendary referee, fellow Canuck, Jimmy Corderas was fucking getting attacked by QT Marshall of all people. I touched on it a bit on the last live show, but we're gonna talk about it more in depth here. But I just want to listen to Monet here, guys. So. That's what's going down. Get those likes up. 15 more likes, please, guys. 130 of you watching. 15 of you haters. Hit that like button. So she's saying, I'm about to turn this house into a mansion. That's how I roll. They're doing a good job of keeping Camille silent as well. I've put that over. Nick Aldis gave you the formula for how to book Camille. You just do that. And and then when she eventually does speak and turn on Monet, it's going to be glorious. Yeah, so August 25th, I'll do a live watch along with you guys for that one. I'm going to do SummerSlam this weekend coming up, guys, which is Saturday, I believe, on the 3rd. So that's on, pardon me. Oh, man. Choking, Perry Pack, Minecraft. So yeah, Saturday is August 3rd, correct? So SummerSlam 2024. Saturday, yeah. So I will be live streaming that with you guys. I can't wait for that. That'll be so excited for SummerSlam. Jonesy, me too. Can't wait for it. Can't wait to do a watch along with you guys and commentate over it. Have a few drinky poos, all that good stuff. Chris Connor, what are you doing for SummerSlam, man?
I'm gonna watch SummerSlam. I'm not gonna do anything big because remember SummerSlam is gonna be the start of also preseason football. We're actually getting ready for that. So I'll be flipping between that and probably the first preseason game or probably preseason stuff. I'll be keeping track of that.
Well,
I'll be have my eye on that. I do want to check. This is what I heard on this year because I wanted to check in on this. The original plan. I was talking to BQ Speaks, and this was also leaked to Fightful.
Okay.
The original plan for Slammiversary was Josh Alexander winning the world title upon his heel turn. He would win beat Joe Hendry, beat Nick Nemeth, and win the whole thing, become a world champion.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Why did that not happen?
They didn't say. I know what for a lot of people wanted to be Nick Nemeth. The feeling was maybe you could sell AJ Styles on a Nick Nemeth versus AJ Styles for Bound for Glory. There's no definite plans, but maybe that's a way they can sell AJ to come back. Hey, Nick Nemeth or formerly Dolph Ziggler versus AJ Styles, Bound for Glory in the fall. Who knows?
I see it happening. I could see that happening. And you got good TNA insider action too. So
I don't know if as I said, this is just spitballing. This is one of those things where you're just throwing crap on a wall, see what sticks. Who knows? As I said, right now there's no plans for AJ Styles. It seems like there's not a lot of plans for a lot of things. Bobby Lashley, we don't know what the hell is going on with him. His contract is coming up.
Damn, dude, I said Hurt Business and TNA would fucking slap. That would be just bring that faction there. Everyone's saying AEW, what? So they can fight the Young Bucks and shit? Like, no, the Elite? No, I don't want to see that. Shaggy Filth in the chat says it'll be his son's first wrestling event at SummerSlam. Shaggy Filth, while I'm live streaming, I don't know what you're working with, but maybe you can send us like footage from boots on the ground or send me photos that I can share on the show, or maybe you can like pop in with some video footage or something. And who knows? I don't know. Maybe you don't want to do that. That's totally fine. But that would be cool too. Like I do it for AEW events when people are there. So WWE ones, why not? Contrast them. Show the merch stand in comparison, do a positive cast about the WWE. Oh, you shill, Phil the shill. I'll be at the 50-yard line. Right on. So, yeah, man, Hangman Adam Page is making his way out. I hope we're at 100 likes. I know we're there. I know we're almost there. 92. 8 more, guys. 8 more. I got a juicy one here, though. We're going to talk about Jimmy Corderas going at or QT Marshall, pardon me, going at Jimmy Corderas and people just in general going at Jimmy Corderas over, at Blood and Guts. There was an unprotected chair shot to Jack Perry by Mark Briscoe. And as we see this week, what's the outcome? Mark Briscoe's just in a fucking 6-man tag with no story. So this guy's talking about, oh, Darby and Jack Perry hate each other. That guy who is telling me all the storylines, right? Darby and Jack Perry hate each other so much, so blah, blah, blah. So why didn't Darby crack him with the chair instead of light him on fire? And be like, like the movie The Punisher, where he's like sticking the popsicle on the guy's back, but he's telling him it's a blowtorch. So the guy thinks his skin's melting off, and he's like, I was just fucking with you, you know? Why didn't fucking Darby do that if he's the one who hates him so much? Because exactly, these are nonsensical, non-fucking stories. Mark Briscoe cracks Jack Perry with the chair, and then all of a sudden, Mark Briscoe's just the Ring of Honor champion in a trios with fucking Orange Cassidy and Ishii called the Conglomerate next week, and has nothing to do with it. So what's the point of that? Like, that's not a story, my friend. So that guy talking that shit, boom, I just blew up that whole Perry fucking Allen narrative, right? And even just that little thing I added would have made it so much better and would have made your fucking dumb make-believe story make sense. Because that's what I do. Do you know why? Because I'm a fucking writer, okay? That's why I'm not just talking out my ass here. I edit other people. It's fucking what I do every day. So listen to me. There was a fucking shaved down gimmicked chair, a gimmicked chair shot, apparently. The chair shot was gimmicked. Awful points out. He goes, well, why haven't we heard anything from Khan or fucking Jack Perry or fucking Mark Briscoe? Because they all know that this whole narrative that it was a gimmicked chair is bullshit. And we talked about it last week, but we're diving in more because Jimmy Corderas posts this video of him in a ring and going, quick lesson, thank you, and good night, because he was outraged by the chair shot to the head. Now, I said, I don't care about the chair shot to the head. I think that you should do it when it's going to mean something. You should do it, and then someone should get color. You shouldn't do it at the end of a crazy hardcore match where people are being slammed on fucking tacks and everything. You should do it at like All In when it's going to be like a memorable moment where Allen hates Jack Perry so much he's going to light him on fire. No, he just crushes him with the chair, and then there's a moment for your big pay-per-view. But no, they just do it on this meaningless. It didn't get more heat on Perry. It didn't get more heat on fucking Allen. Didn't get more heat on Briscoe because he's the one who actually hit him with the fucking chair. You know, it didn't elevate fucking Perry. Perry doesn't have heat like they make believe. They try and talk like he's Dominic Mysterio. He's not. He went to Chicago right after that footage aired for a New Japan show, and they fucking booed him one time. Awesome. You know, that's not a lot of heat, dude. He doesn't really have heat like that. And so the chair shot did nothing. But I personally don't care if it's once in a while and it's meaningful. Do a head chair shot. Gimmick the chair. I don't care. That's all bullshit. My response to this is simple. You can never win this fucking argument when people are taking unprotected shots to the head with a fucking chair because it's 2024. They find CTE in runners now. They say you shouldn't even shake your kids on their fucking knees when they're kids, right? You shouldn't even do. Now, I'm not talking like shaking a baby, but like, you know, you sit a kid on your knee, like a baby or whatever, and you fucking, ups and down. You throw your baby up in the air. You apparently not even supposed to be doing that. Is what this research is. It's an accumulative thing that people garner over time. Okay, everyone gets it. They find CT and runners and shit from their brains just shaking around in there. So you can't win the argument with people outrage culture and shit. And if you smash someone in the head with metal, gimmicked or not, a fucking chair. So, you know, that would be the argument. But if you're going to be outraged, then so I'm okay with it because they're all willing and they're all adults. And if they consent to, okay. I know it's fucking dumb, but dude, I live in Canada. You can agree to delete yourself in a little pod, dude. You can do that. So, I mean, hey, man, the world's a crazy place, whatever. All I'm saying is that if you're outraged and like by grown adult men agreeing to take a chair shot for entertainment, okay, then you have to say we have to ban all stuntmen and we have to ban all pro wrestling and we have to ban all hockey and football. I swear to God, that's the side you're on if that's what you believe, because like, and I agree, let's not just start chair shotting people with fucking chairs to the head. I agree, we can't be doing that, but you can't be outraged by people agreeing to take some fucking head trauma because that's every sport ever. That's every wrestler. That's every stunt guy. Cirque du Soleil guys, I'm sure, getting fucking CTE. Maybe not as bad, right? But all I'm saying is that I just stand on the side of as long as they all consent to it. But do I agree with like creatively? Was it a good fuck? No, it was stupid. And Jack Barry's a dumb fuck, and it just reminded everybody that he's a fucking dumb fuck. Now, Jimmy Corderas. Well, Chris Connor, really quickly, what's your thoughts on the unprotected chair shot to the head?
I remember it's going on Marvin the Movie Monsters podcast, which I love, Toonie Town Wrestling. I love doing, and I remember talking to about just CTE concussions, brain trauma, just in boxing, and how seeing guys after boxing taking all the headshots and all the some of these retired guys who the Gerald McCollums, the Muhammad Ali's, Meldrick Taylors, and they could barely speak after all these. And we've seen guys, ask Tommy Dreamer, and he feels terrible, after the chair shots he gave to Raven and how Raven's had, terrible medical history. He blames himself. Varrock and the chair shots he gave to Mick Foley. Mick Foley has said he feels it afterwards and his health issues. Even, you go on to people like, for God, even Dreamer has said he's had issues with, taking some of these chair shots. So we've seen it. I mean, Chris Nowitzki, did seminars, went to TNA guys, and they were in tears after hearing, these side effects and realizing that, oh, shit, this is going to, this has taken like years off our lives because of what we've done and some of the stuff we've taken. So we've all become smarter of how the CTE has affected us, and this we're not even talking about the NFL and everything we've learned from them. So there's no excuse for AEW guys to go in there and go, oh yeah, let's just take chair shots. You can't gimmick steel chairs. There is no way you can just shave down metal. There's no way. It's been proven. I don't care what QT Marshall says. I know he's, getting paid very well by AEW, but he can just stop, kissing ass to Tony. I have said before, somebody's going to die in AEW. It's just a matter of almost when now. And the fact that
so grim.
We've seen. I mean, we nearly saw. Pardon me. We nearly saw Will Ospreay get laid on his neck and nearly crippled because of a ill-advised hurricane. We've seen poor Bryan Danielson at times almost looks like Joe Biden in terms of where the hell is he? I don't know.
God.
This is all because AEW has no idea. They can't do what the hell. They can't protect themselves. It's a bunch of idiots at times who are going, oh, let's just do whatever the hell we want. They're piss poor trained, and at some point,
there's no training.
This company is going to they're going to do something stupid. And as I said, because an idiot's in charge. And as I said, that whole crap show that was, that cage show, I just kept watching going, somebody's going to get killed. And that chair shot to me was like the last straw. I was like, I'm done. I'm done watching AEW. I am done watching this company. There's a part, if I didn't care about guys getting paid and people losing their jobs, I'd say just put a bullet in this company and let it die.
They literally, the lights went out in the whole fucking building. They shut the lights out and like nothing happened. It wasn't like a debut or anything. It's just the lights accidentally went out during this Darby Allin fucking Hangman match. They were, whoever, the guy running the building's like, fuck this.
You what?
The guy running the building's like, Darby Allin. So I don't know. Here's Jimmy Corderas at Jimmy Corderas, legendary SmackDown referee, WWE referee in general. Here we go. He goes, quick lesson, thank you, and good night. So here's his thoughts on the unprotected chair shot.
Steel chair. Guess what? It's not gimmicked. You know why? Because you can't gimmick these things. So get it out of your head. It is impossible. If it's made of wood, maybe you could shave it down a little bit, but guess what? Steel chairs? That's what you get. Thank you.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. You can shave down screws and shave down the metal and replace the seat of it with tin or something. I don't know. Obviously, QT has some conspiracy because not a conspiracy. I'm just being an asshole. But QT Marshall says you have zero clue what you're speaking of. I'm being such a dick today. If you would like, you can come to AEW and we can show you what we do to protect the talent, or you can continue to be ignorant. Take your pick. Like, what an asshole. Like, come on, dude. You can be a baby and an asshole. Come on, QT. Like, relax, dude. But you can come to AEW. We can show you what we do. No, dude. Tony won't let him there. Or you can continue to be ignorant. So, okay, I guess, like, ignorant to what, man? How you guys, like, loosen the screw or, like, replace the metal with less metally metal. Well, we know what they did because Cody Rhodes fucking breaks it down. Cody Rhodes, who's boys with QT Marshall. Okay? He breaks it down and fucking, he did this a long time ago when they did this, the gimmick chair, and it fucked Cody up and gave him a shitload of stitches and fucking concussed him. And Sean Spears got heat for it. Okay? So QT, though, does this. The sickos go after Corderas, and then you have QT, not backtracking, but just saying, for the record, I'm not mad at Corderas. I'm not mad at anyone for having an opinion on chair shots. My argument was that he didn't understand how we gimmick a chair. I've sent him the DM. The fact he's even tweeting this shit to the public pisses me off, guys. What the fuck happened to pro wrestling?
You what?
I've sent him the DM. He responded. End of it. He's earned the right to get the DM, which is true. DM sent because because Cordero said he can DM me and explain this all. Still waiting how they do it. So now I would love to see Corderas' response. Like, yeah, that DM was a load of fucking horse pucky. I'd love to see his response to that. But the sickos just go after Corderas, and Marshall's just responding to people like, why does every AEW personality have to get offended with what somebody says? And then Marshall says, I'm not offended by what he said. I'm just telling him he's wrong and I can prove why. But like, no, you fucking dude, did he smash a chair in his head or no? Oh, it's like a magic trick, like David Copperfield. Like, I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't care. I'm okay with the chair shot. This isn't my battle, but it's just like the sickos go after QT. Then he's like, well, just for the record, I'm not down with you guys going after him so hard. It's like, well, then why'd you do this? Why didn't you just DM him to begin with? And then QT says responds to this guy and says, you haven't earned the right to be in the know. If you cringe on that, good. It's our job to make you feel what we're feeling. Okay, yeah, whatever. My argument is the chair. Stick to the topic. The chair, yeah, whatever. He's just responding to every random person. Now, we know how he gimmicked the shit because this happened before, guys. Meltzer said what? Sent it right to you, boy. Okay? The GOAT. This is from 2020. When Rhodes took the chair shot from Sean Spears, sliced himself up. Rhodes clarified that they tried to gimmick the chair, but said they didn't actually know how to do so. Now, also remind you, now I'm not saying Briscoe doesn't know how to throw a chair around, all right? He's probably the guy, if anybody, in the match who does know how to do that. But remember, Jade Cargill tells the story, yeah, they tell me go out there and hit him with the chair, and I'm backstage, like, no one's talking to me, and Punk comes up to me and is like, whoa, let me tell you how to do this before you just go throwing chairs at people, right? So this is just more Bush League shit. So anyways, Cody didn't actually know how to rig it, or whoever told him. Who was it? The guy who rigged the fucking exploding barbed wire ring? He didn't know what he was doing either. So whoever's rigging and gimmicking shit around there, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. But anyways, AEW's EVP Rhodes said no matter what happened, he told Tony Khan to say it was a gimmick chair, which is where it all came from. So we don't even know. This is Cody now. I'll give him an X-Files, all the black helicopters, because Cody's saying, listen, no matter what happened, just tell Tony it was gimmicked. So it's the same thing here. Tony's probably in on the work. I'm in on it. I'm one of the boys. That's great. Me and Goofy and Pete the Cat and all of them.
Now, quick question, though. Who's telling the story, though?
Well, this is from Cody's own mouth. Like, it gets explained. Cody Rhodes on chair shot incident, Moxley's involvement, and what went wrong. So that's coming from Cody's own mouth saying they didn't know what they were doing. And look, I'll read the quote. I told him, Sean Spears, to swing from the side. And the last words I told him were swing for the fences. And when I landed, I don't know if you can make it out on the camera shot, but when I landed, my head is so stiff from the shot that I land the awkward landing. When you have 2 falls, I muttered swing for the fences. Yeah, that's called being concussed and rocked. That's called being rocked and noodle-legged. Rhodes clarified that they tried to gimmick the chair, but said they didn't actually know how to do so. So, and like, I love Cody, but thank God he's not there anymore.
Yeah.
The former TNT champion states that AEW security guard Charlie, who saved Moxley from a fan invasion at All Out, was head of the props division and fired that same day due to the way the chair incident went down. So they fired this dude over the Cody Rhodes one, man. Okay. Detailing that the chair was supposed to be sanded down to the thickness of a cookie sheet. So they did it again here now? Like, is that... Yeah, hey, the guy who set Undertaker on fire, let's bring him back for this special occasion. This special WrestleMania. We need to light Kane's arm on fire for this Inferno match. Let's bring the guy who accidentally fucking burned.
Fucking Mark!
Like, what's going on here? So they try the same thing. They shave it down? Or what? It was supposed to be shaved down to a cookie sheet? Okay. Or is this a lie you guys are telling now? No, someone got fired over it. So, like, this is nonsense, dude. Rhodes said he wanted 2 marked with a piece of tape to make sure they worked and were identifiable, and said Tony Khan was adamant that he was taking a chair shot with it. So Tony Khan was like, no, you got to do it. Trust me. It'll be shaved down to a cookie sheet. Mama's cookies. Chocolate chip, oatmeal raisin. Time cup. Man, so we have a history of this, guys. History repeats itself. And then we have more about that as well. Meltzer said links to a video, and he gives the timestamp with Giga Chad Van Vliet at about 16 minutes in. I am going to share this tab, and this is the Young Bucks as well. See, no one be putting this stuff together. Chat, you with me? There we go.
Chair shot before. So you've got to explain this to me.
That was brand new.
Yeah.
Cody was working on that for a good month, I'd say, right?
Yeah. What was supposed to happen?
Well, the chair, the middle of it was so soft. Well, not soft.
They sanded
it's still
down,
metal. Right? But yeah, it was so thin, I should say. It should have probably broke over his head if it was right in the middle of it. The edge of it happened to nail him in the back of the head, and that's what cut him up. And
so the chair would have folded over. He would have been wearing the chair on his head,
and it would have been easier than it would have felt like what were those
a
cooking sheets that it was as thin as that. So it should have been like that, but it didn't.
Just hit him at the wrong angle and busted him open.
Yeah,
is Cody okay?
Yeah, he's all right.
He's okay. He
got staples.
I heard it was a dozen, but I guess he said it was
10 or 12,
10
something
staples
around there.
Yeah,
but he's
10 staples in his head. Yeah, he's all right.
He's all right. He's okay. No
it definitely
concussion.
caught him though. Like he was.
Oh yeah,
he was.
Lesson learned.
Well, then there's a bunch of fans going, "Well, he got hit on this side and he was bleeding on the other side." It's like, well, obviously the lip of the chair caught him.
Yeah, the lip caught him and it got him good. So
it's too bad. But either way, we knew it would carry controversy.
We warned them.
Yeah,
and,
we
were
warned
like,
them.
"This is gonna be a big thing," and I mean, and it was, and it had its effect, and it worked. But I'm just glad he's okay. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's scary. Anything with
There's
you're
risk
messing with
for
your brain, man.
Yeah.
It's freaky. Everyone was freaked out either way. I'm just glad he's okay.
Do you think that'd be a spot you guys would try again? Maybe not. This weekend.
I wouldn't have tried it in the beginning, in the first place.
He's in the match where it happened again, where fucking Briscoe, and then they put the heat on Briscoe. Yeah, you do it, man.
What?
Briscoe's like,
What?
They're like, yeah, we want to do this again. You do it though.
Cody, maybe.
I don't
maybe
think
Cody,
Tony will allow that.
Yeah, he was
again,
pretty upset about it.
Oh no, I was very upset, but I'll allow it again. We gimmick the chair again.
Really?
Yeah.
but wouldn't he have to have the okay?
Yeah, but I think they were hoping that it would go down differently.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Not as a botch the way it went down.
Is there a chain of command? Like, is Tony the last
Tony
person?
is, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, thank you for saying that, but that's not true. I mean, actually, my publicist is telling me to tell you guys that is actually true. I guess.
So everything goes through him.
Yeah.
Everything goes through.
So has there been ideas that have been run up the ladder? I guess to Tony, he goes, I don't think so, guys.
Usually he's really flexible.
Yeah.
Like it is collaborative, but yeah, like if you're gonna get if anything actually ends up happening on that show, Tony has heard about the idea.
Oh, wow.
Or he's
cleared
okayed it. Yeah,
he's
yeah.
okayed it. But Tony,
That's an indictment on Tony Khan looking back, if there ever were one. Right there. So bickety bam. We just blew the whole case wide open, I guess. I don't know. No one just broke that all down for you guys the way I did it. So Chris Connor, your thoughts on all of this, I guess. In hindsight, history repeats itself. Jack Perry's okay. He didn't get sliced open or get staples, but he's a dumb fuck for doing that, I suppose. And like, it didn't work in the past, and Tony was outraged, but now he's just willing to do it again. It just seems to me like there's a lot of flippy floppy fake phoniness going on back there, you know? Hypocrisy.
This started all the way back when Tony backed the Young Bucks. I mean, this started back when, you know, when Tony chose the Bucks over Cody. This is when it started. When all the way back when Tony took over the booking, and he told, you know, when Cody, it was either the Cody's way or the Bucks way, and he chose the Bucks way. And then when he backed the Bucks over CM Punk, he's, for whatever reason, it's always been the Young Bucks have just they have his ear, and so why is it any different now?
Yeah. You're right, dude. You're right. So, Chad, how we doing tonight? Let's refresh this. We're at 103 likes. I'll stop asking. You guys are the best. Round of applause for the PWT universe. We got juicy tonight, guys. It's a lot of juice worth squeezing here. Dynamite's ending. I'm not going to wrap the party up just yet. I'll throw a good handful of bookmarks at you guys too before we get out of here, because they've been accumulating. And yeah, dude, the IWC's been unhinged. We got some Meltzer stuff. And yeah, we're just going to fly through them like we did on the other show where... So who won here? Who got the win, chat? Tell me. I wasn't even paying attention. I was more locked into what I'm doing and what I'm saying over here now. So Saturday's Collision, yeah, we're watching SummerSlam, fam. Okay, yeah, so that was Dynamite, I suppose. Sorry, guys, I'm just going to whip this off. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Then right immediately following Dynamite, did I say that was SummerSlam? No, we're watching SummerSlam next weekend. Immediately after Dynamite, they had a Big Bang Theory commercial right there on TBS. How apropos. So, guys, if you're tuning in, that Dynamite was, you guys already know what's coming. Hey, fucking... So, guys, it's time for everyone's favorite segment, and it's not really a segment. We're just going to freestyle them all like we've been doing as of late, but I'll give you guys a flute because you've been so patient. You've got over 100 likes. It's time for Dave Meltzer's dumb moments of the week. Some of these might not be dumb. We just got to rip off all of the... not rip off, but rip off. You guys know what I'm saying. All of the headlines here. So this Dynamite was whatever. Who cares? I'm moved on. Dave Meltzer reports that at one point, Buddy Matthews tried to give notice so he could leave AEW, but wasn't let go. And in the time since then, he was offered a very lucrative new deal that he agreed to. Regarding stories this week about Buddy Matthews signing a new deal, we've been told this was agreed 2 months ago. He had tried to give notice at one point, but AEW wasn't going to release anyone to go to WWE. Tony Khan since then offered him a new, very lucrative deal, and he agreed to it. So I don't know, man. They're paying Buddy the big bucks. And good. He should stay away from the whole Rhea Dom thing. What say you? Do you want to see Buddy Matthews back in WWE ever, or just take Tony's money and stay working part-time?
Why they should just let him go. I mean, if you have employees who don't want to be there, just let them go. God, I mean, if I was Tony, I would have just said, "Look, anybody doesn't want to be here. Here's the door. I'll cut your release." That would have been an easy way to save some money, free up some room, let some guys go. God, it's just his ego, and now he's stuck with a guy who. There's no direction. What are we doing with Buddy? I mean, if you're Buddy Murphy, it's like, hey, great, I'm getting a lot of money to do nothing except sit around and, hey, all right, hey, this is the best paycheck. I do nothing except probably sometimes sit at a catering, wrestle a match once in a while, and hey, that's it. God, this company is just, they are destined to fail.
So you don't think Matthews is worth like a handful of a chunk of change?
When they have nothing for him, I mean, there is nothing right now. Nothing for him. I mean, what are they doing right now with that group?
Like nothing, you know? Nothing. And Brody King's friends with
why
Punk,
pay him?
and Aleister Black's probably going to go back to
they have too many people. So literally, why are you having them there? I mean, there's so many people. They have over 170 wrestlers. You could cut at least 80 of them and still have too many people for all the shows you have. It's mind-boggling, that company. You could, as I said, literally, with all the people you are bringing in, and we're not even talking all the people that Tony likes to fly in from CMML, from AAA, from New Japan. You could, as I said, this company is just doomed to failure because this kid just literally is treating it like it's his own little personal playground with all these little toys that he gets to play with, and then just dumps them off of his sandbox. It pisses me off. It truly pisses me off how this could be something great, and he's just running it into the ground.
Damn. Harsh words. Beth Phoenix is no longer under contract to WWE per PW Insider. Do you think we see her in AEW with Edge?
Probably. I mean, look, she probably has a couple matches. It'll be Beth Copeland. How much they can get out of her, it depends. Once again, folks, another wrestler that will get lost in the shuffle. What are they going to do with her? And eventually, she'll probably job to Sasha Banks or Mercedes Moné, because why? Well, Mercedes Moné will just decide, hey, I want to have a win over Beth Copeland.
Damn, maybe you're right. Beth Copeland? Do you think that's her name if she comes in? Beth Copeland?
She can't be Beth Phoenix because that name is taken by WWE. They're not going to just release it. So, yeah, she'll be Beth Copeland probably.
Damn, that's pretty crazy. That would make a lot of sense, though. And then they do like them versus Cole and Britt Baker and shit if that ever works out. That'd be funny. Okay, moving along here. We got more. So, more Meltzer here. The hope for AEW All In at Wembley this year was Katsuchika Okada versus Kenny Omega for the Continental title. Now, what do I tell you guys all the goddamn time? What do I tell you? That he wants to recreate that Ricochet Ospreay match. He wants to recreate the Okada Kenny Omega 7 stars. That's what he wants to do.
You what?
And I didn't get around to. But I think what's going to happen with this whole TV deal is that Tony Khan is we're going to lose like Collision or Rampage, right? And then he's going to call one of them AEW Ring of Honor, and that's going to be his like official second brand, like an actual second brand, AEW Ring of Honor. And then Collision and Rampage and shit. Maybe like Rampage will belong to Ring of Honor and then Collision to AEW or something. And then I think he's going to like divide the brands, but like the way they already are divided, you know? He's not actually going to do like a brand split, but if he calls it AEW Ring of Honor, that is the death, dude. That is like WWE ECW. Like it is the death of fucking Ring of Honor officially. And it's so funny that people, I don't know, they're like, well, Ring of Honor wouldn't be around if it wasn't for Tony. It's like, yeah, but it would have been remembered as like that thing that it was, not this like bastard version. The same thing with ECW. And if he calls it AEW Ring of Honor, that's even worse because, WWE, it was called like WWE ECW, but they just called it ECW. So if he starts just flat out calling it like AEW ROH, I'm going to fucking shit my pants at how, I don't know. I'm just going to be like, dude, like I don't know. I'm gonna be pissed, I'm gonna have to rant and rave like I've been doing all night. But I think he thinks that it will get Ring of Honor like a TV part of a TV deal, or so get it on TV, or I don't know. He thinks his brand is strong enough to propel Ring of Honor into greater things. Which really, it would have just it would be good right now if he just filmed it from Daly's place and booked it properly. But I don't know. Your thoughts on him changing the name of ROH to AEW Ring of Honor?
He is desperate to keep that. He's desperate just to keep it afloat, and it's at this point, it's just kill it. I mean, this thing is dead in the water. It was. There's no appeal. Nobody cares about it. Once it died. Which thanks to him, when he basically raided it and pilfered all the best talent when AEW was created and stole all the best people. It died. It basically died. That and COVID took it over, and then he bought it. Cherry picked some of the best talent. Then he took it over, and then passed over on guys like Joe Hendry, who went to TNA. He's kept it afloat, but there's been no TV deal. Nobody else wants it.
Wait, did you say Joe Hendry?
Yes, they had a chance to have Joe Hendry. They passed on Joe Hendry.
I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. He's not here? God damn it.
Unfortunately.
I'm going to do it till he shows up, Chris Connor.
Yes, unfortunately here, it's time. It's time to just put that dog down. Look, I think this is what I think. I think Dynamite survives. I think they end up having to fold Collision. They have to fold Rampage. We get stuck with 3 hours of Dynamite. God forbid, and that's it. And Tony will have to, dare I say, he's not going to like it, but like every little kid who throws a temper tantrum, he's going to have to cut some wrestlers. And that's what we're going to get next year.
Damn. Next year. So Tony Khan says, I don't think it's out of the question to say, and I don't think it's sacrilegious to say that it would only help grow the ROH brand if I were to license it. Sub-license. If it were AEW ROH. Oh, what a fucking sellout. Man, oh, I love wrestling, bro. Fuck that.
If you're WB, why do you want more shows that don't get 500,000 viewers? I mean, if you I know that, AEW disciplinary committee and AEW all like, well, they can put it on True TV. It's like, no, we don't.
No,
do you think they want this crap? No. It's not real sports. So they can't go, oh, yes, we have AEW Rampage on our True Sports Network. No.
I think it'll go like streaming
this thing
before
needs to be
anything.
killed. It's like,
it needs to be killed.
Streaming as what?
I don't know. I could just see.
No, you can't stream it as what?
No, I'm just saying.
You put
listen,
stuff on streaming because people will like. When you put stuff on streaming, it means you put it on streaming because like people will stream it because it like has a passionate fan base that will stream it like multiple times, you like gorge it like. All right, like I will stream something like the Umbrella Academy because I'll watch it like numerous times.
Right, I'm rewatching all of Cobra Kai. I'm rewatching it all before I watch the new eps. No spoilers, chat.
Yes, or even like Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2. You watch those multiple times. You're not going to rewatch a Rampage AEW Dynamite episode from 3 years ago or an AEW Rampage episode from 2 years ago. No. Hell no. So, yes, unfortunately, I can see some of these AEW like Rampage and Collision just like dying a slow death. Just AEW, WBD just going, yeah, no, hard pass.
Damn. So, yeah, I don't know. I just think it's cringe. I think it's cringe. So moving along here, Kenny Omega, this is per Wrestling Observer. Kenny Omega underwent surgery on 5/16, and the usual recovery period is 4 months. So the theory is he's going to fall a few weeks short of making All In at Wembley. His health situation was far worse than most who have hernia surgery. Praying for Kenny's recovery. That's all I can say. So Dave Meltzer, let's play another flute. Flute's in the chat. We're going to wrap up soon here, folks, but let's give another Dave Meltzer moment of the week here. Meltzer says, I know he deleted the post, but I was, I was thinking the same thing. So basically, Corey Graves deleted the post about the chair shot. Pro Wrestle Clips on YouTube. Check it out. You guys will know. And Dave Meltzer said, I know he deleted this post, but I was thinking the same thing. Even with a shaved down chair, there are far too many wrestlers over the decades who had issues in later in life, let alone Graves, whose career ended due to concussions. It's not a tribal thing. It's just something not needed in today's pro wrestling. And Dave actually had a fucking smart moment there. I agree. It isn't needed. I'm also not like against it. I already said my piece on it, but Dave with a smart moment. You like that, Chris Connor? So here's some screen grabs. I told you guys, like it says in the title, the IWC's been unhinged. Here's our good buddy, this is my buddy, this is my pal, AIR Gold, who's responding to some tweet. And this dude, Ashley Bradbury, saying, I don't care much. I'm from the UK. I enjoy AEW All In London last year. I will hopefully enjoy AEW All In London next month. If it happens again next year, I will enjoy AEW All In London. And if WrestleMania happens at Wembley, I will enjoy it overall. And then AIR Gold says, of course, from the fans' point of view, the more the merrier. But as someone from London, how would you feel about your tax money going? So this guy can't see. This is the tribalist shit because they preach just like both. But instead it's, of course, from the fans' point of view, the more the merrier. But as someone from London, how would you feel about your tax money going to fund a wrestling show with the economic situation in the country being the way it is. AIR Gold, you dumb bastard.
Yeah.
Bro, do you understand that these events boost the economy? So do I have to pull up the articles where Taylor Swift, her Eras tour, boosts the economy for these places? And do you not understand how when UFCs go to places, it boosts the economy, and that's why these places bid for WrestleMania in the first place, because they want the tourists and they want other people coming in, spending their money, enjoying the city, leaving and wanting to come back annually or multiple times or whatever the fuck. Maybe once every 5 years they head on down to wherever the fuck that they want. Why do you think they want it there? Because they want to watch wrestling. They want to watch wrestling. That's why the mayor of fucking all the, you know what I'm saying? That's why the mayor of London and the mayor of fucking Milwaukee. No, but
here's the
they
uncomfortable.
They don't understand. These sickos don't get it, Chris Connor. They don't fucking understand. From a fan's point of view, it's good, but as a taxpayer with the economic state, why would you want WrestleMania there? Well, to make the economy better. What the fuck? Sorry, you go ahead.
Here's the uncomfortable truth that a lot of Brits are facing, and this is I talked about this on my podcast with Manny Montreal. 5 years ago, Britain was the home of combat sports. I mean, they could literally, UFC was hosting like big British pay-per-views with every big fight, whether it was Conor McGregor, Tom Aspinall, Paddy Pimblett, Michael Bisping. You had Anthony Joshua fighting from the UK. You had even guys like Tyson Fury fighting. It was the bee's knees. And then COVID hit. And then the Saudis took over boxing. And what's happened? I mean, you look at Anthony Joshua now only fights in Saudi Arabia. You know, his last couple fights have been Saudi Arabia only. You look at Tyson Fury, where have his last fights been? Saudi Arabia only.
Right.
The Saudis have taken over boxing. They get all those. The UFC now caters a lot more mostly towards Australia, mostly towards the Middle East, mostly towards Vegas. COVID really killed the UK, and so London desperately is needed tourism dollars, and so
yeah, man.
As Marvin, as Kevin Apollo has stated, as AEW Awful has stated, as a lot of people have stated, Mayor Khan has been desperate to get any travel tourism dollars possible. WrestleMania is a huge 2-day event. A lot of people are going to be there.
And it's WrestleMania week. It's not just Mania. It's the takeover there for NXT. It's the fucking SmackDown. They'll probably do Raw there. It's the meet and greet, the WWE experience that they have there, like they call it WWE World or whatever. Shout out Fanatics down below. There's an affiliate link, WWE Shop. Next time you're grabbing merch, click that link below. You support PWT. And yeah, man, they shout out Fanatics for that as well. So it's a whole week of festivities, man, going down in London, and they want it badly, man. They're not, the fucking mayor isn't, like, AEW's paying to run Wembley Stadium. The mayor's not running his fucking re-election on, oh, I'm going to bring WrestleMania in, you know?
So we know that WrestleMania 41.
I mean, all in, pardon me. I misspoke. Sorry. He's not saying, oh, he's saying, yo, if you re-elect me, I'm going to bring WrestleMania here. He's not saying, oh, if you re-elect me, I'm going to bring All In here. No one gives a shit. Not to be a fucking hater, but it's like, I don't care, you know, like, Jesus. Sorry, you go ahead.
So WrestleMania 41, that is going to be next year. That is signed, sealed, delivered. That is in Paradise, Nevada. It is the Legion Stadium. That we know is going to be the Netflix one. And Lucas Oil is getting to be announced. we don't know what WrestleMania 42 is. Now all of a sudden that could be in play, and that's in 2 years. So we could see all of a sudden London get that one, because that could be the one where you start going, well, Roman Reigns versus The Rock, WrestleMania 42, or Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul, or Roman Reigns versus Bad Bunny.
Options.
I mean, they're gonna put in
Roman
big,
Reigns versus Bad Bunny.
Why not? I mean, those are the ones where it's like, we are going to give you a big cash vuku pay-per-view main event. If London gets it, they're going to reward them for like, hey, we are going to give you something where it's going to be, we're going to sell it out. We're going to bring in vuku bucks. We are going to give you something where, hey, we're going to sell this, we're going to break the record because London's going to pay for Wembley. They're going to give you a big
imagine
site fee. Wembley's not going to charge you. Wembley is going to pay out the nose. And because of that, WWE is going to say, hey, we're not going to give you like Gunther versus Braun Breaker. No, we will give you one of those big.
Yeah, like Drew finally winning the belt, like finally winning it and like actually holding it.
Drew's not big enough. This will be, as I said, this would be like Rock versus Cody.
Damn,
because
they want 100K. You're right, dude. They want like
that is what you. If it's London, you give them something big because it's London.
So this weirdo goes on to say London hosts the biggest events in cricket, to what you were saying, football, tennis, NFL games, etc. And they already have a huge wrestling show with AEW. Okay, but they did that once with them, and then they did another one that is not even selling 45,000 tickets, which like Survivor Series sells that many, dude. AR Gold, what the fuck are you talking about? How would the mayor justify taking tax money to pay WWE to bring a wrestling show to a city? Because Philadelphia, as I see in the chat, made something like $200 million from the last WrestleMania. That's how he justifies it, you fucking idiot. Oh my God. And for what gain? $200 million, AIR Gold. Jesus. The city is one of the biggest tourist attractions in the world already, but they're hurting. You pointed that out in your tweet before. Why are they hurting? Because nothing touristy is going on there. What's the number? Oh, one of the number one tourist cities ever. And they won a WrestleMania, which is like the number one tourist thing ever. So it makes perfect fucking sense. If you were a wrestling fan, you know that that's like when Macho Man and Hulk Hogan shook hands and the Mega Powers were formed. You fucking mark. So yeah, man, these people are unhinged. Here's Jimmy Corderas is getting heat from QT. We covered it on the last show, but here's like what the spot was. Hopefully we don't get Don Stevens, but here's Taurus. He does like a sit-out vertebraker on hologram. Is that a vertebraker? It's like an inverted vertebraker, right? Or am I saying, is that the wrong move? It's like a reverse vertebraker, whatever. Crosses him up. That's a pin, guys. I don't care what anyone says. That's a fucking pin. We've seen Jericho put a foot on someone. This is a pin right here. He's like, cover him, cover him, cover him. The ref's not doing shit. Cover him. Then he just kicks out at like one. No sells that crazy move. It's just always some Bush League shit. And these are the two luchas that Tony's pushing now. Fuck the Lucha Bros. Commander did a job to this. This guy used to be called Black Taurus. His name is like whatever now. I forget. I'm so sorry, dude. But yeah, it's what do you guys think of that? More ref botches. I don't know. Just terrible. So Dave Meltzer, someone Master Taker, which is a great name, tags me in this. I knew it that Meltzer and his sheep would stab Steiner in the back. So we talked about it earlier, but Meltzer goes, I would love someone to watch a week of WCW early 90s with the Steiners as champs, a week of New Japan pro wrestling in the 90s, heyday of the Steiners, a week of WWF in the 90s with Steiners as champs. Yeah, Dave, the difference is everyone in this shit you're naming looked like they could beat the shit out of you. And MMA wasn't on TV every fucking day readily available on cable and shit for the last 20 years. That's the difference. So now you got to come with some good shit in pro wrestling. That's the whole thing, dude. That's the whole thing, dude. You fucking Dave, he just doesn't get it. He's behind the times, man. A week of New Japan in the 90s, a week with WWF in the 90s with Steiner as champs, and this past week of AEW, and actually count the number of stories and angles all four had. A bunch of people responded to these two I saw online. They're like, oh, fucking Chris, can you name any? Do you know, were you a Steiner's fan? Did they have good stories back then?
Yes, Steiner's where in WCW and WWE, which one? Take your pick. I mean, Steiner's versus the Head Shrinkers, Steiner's versus Doom, Steiner's versus the Varsity Club, Steiner's versus Harlem Heat, Steiner's versus the Outsiders. They've had storylines.
Yeah, he just has no problem just talking out of his ass. And didn't he cover all this? This is the problem. Like, you know, he did it before internet. A lot of people used to they used to peddle fake martial arts and kung fu all the time too, before the fucking internet, dude. Now you can't do that. You know what I mean? Now you can't peddle that bullshit anymore, Chris Connor. You got to really know how to fucking go, or your dojo and shit's gonna get called out. Speaking of called out, this is via @downbrown0531. Covering how I have to say seeing But Why Alyssa completely dismantle this empty-headed little drone has been a thing of beauty. So here is, I'm not even actually sure what we're about to read here, but it's just more unhinged IWC behavior. So at AEW blog, there's a clip of CM Punk. He was at the same Comic-Con where Tony Khan had like a meltdown. Zoe Stark starts crying about how much she fucking appreciates and loves CM Punk. CM Punk puts his arm around her, sort of brings her in, and people are saying he's creepy and he's only photographed with women in WWE, which it's like, dude, a chick magnet Punk. Okay, here's the thing. So what? That all the girls want to come and take a picture with Punk. Sorry, that's never happened to you, dude. Like, why the fuck does that trigger you? And then not only that, there's tons of pictures with him and dudes, but dudes don't like stop and go like, hey, let's do a selfie quick, bros, like really quick, like as much as women do. Period. We don't fucking do it. So it's just crazy that these people, they expose how like, you never been around a girl, have you? And so this guy, AEW blog, just showing the unhingedness. They're getting so desperate and slimy leading up to All In. CM Punk gets way too close to and friendly with the female talent on the WWE roster. Way too touchy for a man who is married. Now, here's the thing with pro wrestling, or like let's say you're like soldiers or something, man. You've been through some shit. It's like a weird brotherhood where you understand this thing that other people, if you work on set for something and you rap like there's like a bond. It's like going to camp together, it's what it is. And now does that result in you get Edge and Lita situation? Sure. But nothing Punk does indicates to me that he's fucking around, nor would I even, it's his marriage, dude. Like, why would that's no one's business anyways. Maybe they're open. Do you ever think about, who knows? We don't fucking know. I don't know. Do you know? I don't know. You know? Dave doesn't know. I know that. Whoa, Dave catching strays. But yeah, like who even gives a shit, until you see, until I fucking covered it with the Jericho thing too, where some corn star, I'll call it, goddamn YouTube, they posted a picture with Jericho or something and they're kissing, and I'm sitting there going, maybe they're open. I said the same thing. Like, we don't know what him and his wife are cool with, so I'm not judging. But either way, I don't feel like Punk's being creepy or touchy-feely. These guys are just grasping for anything. So she's like crying to him too, and he's like consoling her, like, like there you, like her hero's like putting his arm around her and going, hey, calm down now, it's all good type thing. So super weird. But CM Punk gets way too close, blah, blah, blah. I just read it. But why Alyssa responds, you want to know what's actually creepy, trying to force some sort of harassment narrative because you're too damn stunted and repellent to make friends. You don't get to play the would-be protector of women who would detest you in real life. You know nothing about anything, mate. Now that's rank to like, they would detest you in real life, but like, come on. Other people are going at him. This AEW blog says, nope, it's totally reasonable for another to agree or not to agree with how others think or what they say, whether jokingly or seriously. Okay, that's a cop-out. Alyssa says, well, I'm seriously saying that your attitude towards this is repellent at best and an indicator of your regressive attitude towards controlling people at worst. It's weird. You're being weird. Blog says, controlling people? The fuck are you even talking about? How? Me defending women and saying Punk's behavior? Dude, you're not defending them, though. It's so... Look how weird and unhinged this is. Holy shit. Towards women while being married is weird and disgusting. Bruv. You think that's weird? Yeah, you never been loved, have you? Jesus! You think this type of behavior is okay? Granted, the video I posted was just to wind up the WWE fans. So now he's just copping out and saying, I don't even stand on the bullshit I'm peddling. I'm just peddling bullshit.
Shut up, bitch!
Yeah, too personal, but overall, Punk's behavior isn't right in my eyes. Then say, in my opinion, or something. I don't know, fucking weirdo. And then she goes on to say, congratulations, you're now lecturing a woman about defending a woman. You white knighting has driven you into speaking over a woman. Man, just unhinged behavior. I'm not going to read this fucking geek's responses, but I don't know. It's weird, man. And speaking of weird responses, we have another one with Monet here who like some fan responded, like commented under her Instagram post and was like, this hair reminds me of the hair you had back in WWE as Sasha Banks. I miss that wrestler. And then Mercedes responds and goes, no, you don't. And it's like, what? And then this guy says, she's the same wrestler, Mark. And then this girl goes, yes, I do. AEW is trash and just filled with ex-WWE wrestlers. Just saying. Oh my God. And then Mercedes goes, and what is E filled with? And I don't know, man. That's a weird response. No. I saw some people kind of clowning on Monet, but like, what does she even mean by that? The E is filled with former WWE wrestlers too. I don't really get it, but yeah, it's definitely funny that just the response, like, no, you don't, miss Sasha. So I think Mercedes is just going to like ride the Tony wagon. Don't be shocked if she's never back in WWE till her Hall of Fame induction. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts on Monet, I guess, and these weird IWC guys, man?
As far as Monet looks, she got a great deal. Congrats to her. I don't think she loves wrestling like she did when she first started out, and I get it. She wants to be an actress. She wants to do, you know, she's into other things, whether it's her clothing, whether it's her fashion, whether it's music, social influence, or others. I mean, we get older, we have other stuff, and kudos to her. And she's getting paid a lot of money, and she gets to do whatever the hell she wants to do. So I don't, WWE, I don't think wanted to put up with her and her, let's say, other adventures. So they let her go and let her do her own thing after she walked out. Will she come back? Eventually, because that is the premier organization. She wants to go back there eventually.
They all do. They all.
And as far as the look, I have talked to a lot of fighters, and privately, when you talk to enough wrestlers and media fighters, they'll all say the same thing. There's enough of these fans, as they call it, who they quickly just look and go. You can understand why they hate the fans, because they don't understand boundaries. They don't understand, like,
yeah,
there's a line you don't cross, and it gets to a point where it's like, okay, you this is social media. You have to understand, if you said this to them in person, you would think twice, because you'd get punched in the face very quickly. But in social media, you can get away with it because you hide behind, a fake profile. Nobody knows who you are, and if you get shamed, well, who knows? You're saying behind profile, real G's 43, and nobody knows who the hell you are.
Real G's 43. That's hilarious. So here's another unhinged one. This guy at Stan Steamed Them. He fucking was going at Corderis. This guy's working overtime. This is fucking someone's burner at AEW for sure. Mr. Brooks, what a fucking ball licker. We have videographic evidence of Mr. Brooks groping multiple women at WWE. I heard the reason Punk was upset at AEW was because TK wouldn't give Punk unfettered access to all the women, especially the teens at ROH like WWE is doing. And fucking this guy, like Corderis was arguing with this guy for like 5 hours, dude. And these people are just like sick fucking, these are the sickos, man. Tony said, we want the sickos. And that's what he's getting, the fucking sickos. Here's Matthew Gregg, Forever Botchamania. And here's a clip. We're going to get Dawn Stevens. Hopefully not, but it involves Dawn Stevens. Her audio is playing during this clip. So let's play this. Here's the debut of Mason Mansoor in Ring of Honor.
We're going to start things off here with Mansoor. Won Best Hair at Paris Fashion Week. Oh, the Sultan of Sock.
I gotcha.
And my fellow NYU alumni, the Mahogany Hunk. Yeah, Mason Madden. He's got a huge man.
Time.
We're going to start things off here with Mansoor.
Damn, that's pretty funny. It's just AEW light. Like they just got Aubrey down there reffing. Like it's the same thing, you know? Here we go. Dave Meltzer on Drew McIntyre. Okay, I got a couple more for you guys, and then we'll wrap things up here. Phrasing. How does Chris Connor know my other profile's name? Who knows? How do you, Chris? And then Hooves in the chat. Yeah. Cody versus Fatu. That's my dream match. I'd sue that guy for libel. Okay, chat. So here, I got a couple more for you guys. Shaggy Filth, were you asking a serious question? What is this guy, Chris Connor? You know his other handle or something?
Just a random guess. I just picked it out of, just literally threw a dart.
I have
against
no
the wall.
idea what the fuck you're even talking about. What you? I have literally no idea. Someone explain to me what the fuck he's even what you're talking about, Shaggy Filth. Because I legit don't know. I'm like, what do you mean? A random guess? Anyways, Dave Meltzer on Drew McIntyre. Seriously, when I was thinking about Wrestler of the Year last week, I was coming up with names, and Drew's not going to win Wrestler of the Year. Well, maybe he will. Oh, I get it. Because you were like Real G's 24 or whatever. And dude's like, how did you, or yeah, Cheese 43. And he's like, how'd you know my other handle? It was a joke. Dude, I was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Here we go. Wait, the emoji for Don Stevens should be a horn. It's what they play before a horse race. Oh my God, you guys are savage. Yeah, I get it now. I'm just an idiot. I'm going to give myself a dummy, okay? I'm supposed to be the funny man. I don't get the fucking jokes that are above my IQ level, Shaggy Filth, okay? But anyways, Meltzer on Drew McIntyre. It literally sank in as I was reading dumb Meltzer. Seriously, when I was thinking about Wrestler of the Year last week, I was coming up with names, and Drew's not going to win Wrestler of the Year. Well, maybe he will. But if he goes and wins the title and has a great 6 months, I suppose he could. But the thing is, when I was thinking, what about Drew McIntyre? Great promos, a lot of really good to great matches. Tony Khan just carrying a feud with a guy who's injured for 6 months and carrying that feud for 6 months and making it bigger and bigger and bigger. So he just did this to take a shot at CM Punk. Drew's carrying the fucking feud.
You fucking mark!
And realistically, you could argue it's the biggest match at SummerSlam. I would say if you're asking me what's the biggest match, I think it's that one. Granted, Punk's got the unique charisma and everything like that, and he's been gone for 6 months, which all helps, but still, you've got 2 world titles, and you've got the Rhea Ripley Dom thing. Punk has been good in this program, but Drew McIntyre has completely carried it. So he just took this opportunity to shit on Drew and say he's not going to be Wrestler of the Year, but also he's carrying the best, one of the hottest feuds right now in WWE. He's carrying it for Punk, but Drew's not wrestling. Like, it's so fucking, he's just such a dumb mark. This shit is so stupid to even say. Punk has been good in this program, but Drew has been completely carrying it. If you look at a guy carrying a program, he's done that better than anybody in wrestling this year, if you really think about it. What? The fuck are you talking about, Dave Meltzer? What does that mean? I don't even understand what he's trying to say. Like, so if you carry it, it doesn't make you one of the best, but he's done that better than anyone this year, but he's not the best, but Punk is not doing shit at all. He's just literally, he doesn't get how he's being so shitty to everyone. And like, people don't think about wrestling this way, Dave. It's fucking insane. I'm going to give him a flute. That was Dave Meltzer's, once again, dumb moment of the week. And guys, Kay, we did a whole whack job ton tonight. I got a pod coming tomorrow. I got a few lined up for this week and over the weekend. So thank you all for being here. I appreciate you so much. Round of applause to the chat that are goated. You guys are absolutely goated. And Plenty and Pixel Art for $2 says, why is he like this? Because, dude, he likes abuse. No, he's just old. He's it's like this sociopath. You just stay here locked into PWT podcast and PWT live show, and you'll learn all about the hypocrisy. The fucking, I just dropped a great one where we went back in time and looked at Jim Cornette calling him out on this shit months or years before, pardon me, and how it just relates to today. And I'm always on top of the Dave stuff. And yeah, I got the goats here with me, like Chris Connor from the Last Call podcast. Thank you so much for the super chat, by the way. I'll give you a bruv. And Chris Connor, let the good folks know where they can find you, what you got going on. I'm always popping up on your show, and I love doing your show. I love talking MMA with you as well. So PWT Universe, if you guys are into MMA and boxing as well, and you want to hear Phil explore that a little more, Last Call podcast, man. I'm over there. I'll try and come on as much as you'll have me, but let the good people know where they can find you and tell them about your show.
So lastcallpodcast.com. You can check me out. It's also on Twitter. It's Last Call Chris C. Also, it's on Facebook, Last Call Chris C. Instagram.com with Last Call Chris C. And this week we had Kevin Apollo with ACW. Talked with him about the intricacies of independent wrestling. Talked about his almost WWE tryout and how an injury basically put him on the shelf for several years, why he came back, his love of pro wrestling, the great question of always being selfish versus being a company guy. He talks to us about why he came back, his new promotion, and why he's giving back to independent wrestlers who want to, really learn pro wrestling, and takes into, I guess, what is missing from independent wrestling and why, the territories are missed. A great 1 hour interview where the Mad Titan actually goes into a lot of things about what actually is missing from pro wrestling and why people really need to learn about, the industry itself, not just the flippy dippy stuff, but actual, psychology of it.
Yes.
And the next couple of weeks, we're going to have a lot more pro football guys from Into the Lab podcast. Some of the guys from Arrowhead Attic come on, talk Kansas City Chiefs, Dallas Cowboys, Houston Texans. Check it out once again, the lastcallpodcast.com. And Phil, always great having you talk with pro wrestling with you. We got to have you back on next couple of weeks after talk a recap of Survivor Series.
SummerSlam, but I'll be there.
Sorry, SummerSlam. I'm getting confused because we get Survivor Series coming up. We get Bound for Glory coming up.
I'd love to do something like that with you.
Berlin coming up. We got so much stuff coming up.
Yeah. And I'd love to do something with Bound for Glory with you too. And you're always welcome here on the live streams. And yeah, we'll do another podcast soon. And thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. A round of applause for Chris Connor. And yeah, I'm doing Kevin Apollo's going to come on PWT podcast soon too, and he's a great guy. I got me and Marv are going to do something soon. We got Alfred coming, or I'm going to go do something with Alfred over on his channel too for SummerSlam, I believe. I got to DM him, get back to him about that. And yeah, so I just want to thank everybody for being here. Stay on the lookout for me. YouTube.com/@prowrestletimes is the secondary channel. The replay of this show will be uploaded there. If you're just tuning in, you're tuning in late, the replay will be on the other channel. Make sure you subscribe over there. YouTube.com/@prowrestleclips is the channel where we're at 4,000 subs basically, and help us get there. We're like only a few subs away. So I appreciate you all so much. Thanks for being here at Pro Wrestle Times everywhere on social media. And I cannot wait for the live stream. SummerSlam live stream this Saturday. Let's fucking go. I'll see you guys in the Upside Down. Peace.